What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
And hopefully this is working. You never know, it might be. Good evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the something of April, 13th of April. Lucky for some, hopefully lucky for me. Hopefully you're having a fantastic weekend, and as you probably guessed from the thumbnail for the stream, I bought a processor off AliExpress. And actually, can you all hear me? I should check that first of all. Am I actually... Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hopefully you can. I'm not too sure whether it's hot in here or whether it's cool. I'm undecided. It's 22 degrees almost at the moment in here. Okay, Bob says, can hear you and you're in sync. Excellent. I was going to do a joke about in sync then, but it escapes me. Anyway, good stuff. Let's make sure the overhead's working as well. Overhead camera. Yep, there we go. Happy days. Actually, that looks a bit pissed. Oh well, what the hell. It'll be fine. And desktop stream. That appears to be working as well. Good stuff. I've actually swapped my camera. No, not my camera. I've swapped my capture card back to the Elgato. The HD... What is it? The Game Capture Pro... I don't know what it is. The one with loads of inputs on it. So, anyway, we'll see what it's like. So yeah, tonight's stream is going to be about this bad boy. Actually, I'll give you a close-up because you probably can't see that from over there. So hopefully that is going to focus at some point. So this is a Ryzen 7 7700 non-X version. This was purchased, I think it was about a month ago actually, on AliExpress, the last time they had one of their specials on. And actually, regardless of the specials, they're at fantastic prices at the moment. So this processor, the Ryzen 7 7700, is normally, if you go onto amazon.co.uk or pretty much any of the UK retailers, about the best you're going to get is about £280 to £300 for this processor. It's an 8-core, 16-thread beast, AM5 socket, etc, etc. Oh, Calf's showing me some things, hang on. My eyes ain't that good. And that's moved, hang on. Nick Barnes has sent us a PayPal donation. Thank you very much, Nick. £20. Bless you. I was looking at the one above saying you have sent X amount of money to Dave Aiken. That's the more depressing one of those two messages. But thank you very much.
What are we doing them? Should we do? That's it, just one.
Oh right, okay, sorry. Just checking more. So Thank you very much.
Should we do the other one?
Go on, let's do Ugly Bob's as well. Get that one done.
Ah.
Where's Ugly Bob's? There we go.
Ah.
Disco. Calf's having terrible trouble with a remote control. It's only one button. Although actually, in her defence,
That button is rubbish.
for some reason, if I press the button sometimes, I come down first thing in the morning, turn on my lights, that comes on automatically because it's on the same extension strip. And if I press the off button, invariably sometimes it'll just turn itself straight back on. So I'm playing like cat and mouse with the button. Like, turn off. Just turn off. First world problems, my friends. First world problems. So thank you very much, Ugly Bob, for the super chat. Much appreciated.
We must be able to hear me clicking.
The button's not working. Yeah, so nice to see a lot of you in the chat this evening. Waiting to see if I've been scammed. Ugly Bob's now been a YouTube channel member for 31 months. He says 31 months, I can't remember that far back. I think 31 months ago we were up a certain creek without many paddles. Ah dear. Robert Vida says, hi, anybody know how much he paid for the 7700? Well, I was about to get to that. So retail price at the moment, around about £280 to £300 here in the UK. That will be a retail box version that comes with, I think it comes with just a normal Wraith stealth cooler possibly. I'm not entirely sure on that because I've not bought a retail box version. I've got the 7700X, which was a retail box. That didn't come with a cooler at all. But the coolers are kind of besides the point. So at the moment, at the day of recording now, depending when you're watching this, obviously if you're watching live then it is as it is. If you're watching this sometime in the future, the Ryzen 7 7700 from AliExpress was £144. And that was including VAT, including customs charges, and including delivery. So basically half price, maybe slightly more than half price. So that is a fantastic price. Now, in complete disclosure, this is the second one I bought. I bought another one from another store, which was called CPU Top. This particular store, I cannot remember off the top of my head what the name is. I'll try and look it up for you a little bit later on. So maybe if you're also considering getting one, I do check to see if they've had a few sales and they've been going for a few years or something along those lines. With AliExpress, stores do come and go. Now, we did actually buy some other processors from AliExpress earlier in the year, or was it towards the tail end of last year? Bought a 7500F, which arrived and was absolutely fine. The previous 7700F, the 7700 previously, is actually the one that is in the Stream PC, which potentially that doesn't prove anything in terms of stability, but the fact that it's working, is streaming, I've been using it on a daily basis for the last, I don't know, 3 months or so. It seems fine, and it benchmarks as it should do. This particular one turned up basically the same as the others, in a very small box, just a cardboard box with a little bit of tape on it. And immediately I looked at it and it's like, oh yeah, great, it looks like it's absolutely brand new. But on closer inspection, looking at the actual CPU, there are some changes between them. So if you buy a retail one, there appears to be more information actually on the heat shield, such as where it was made, serial numbers and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this basically has considerably less information. Now, I have researched it, and it does appear that that is something that AMD have been doing in recent times, reducing some of the information. Some of them said made in China or made in Taiwan or whatever it was. There was some bizarre theory that they removed that because it was offending certain marketplaces. So I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that. Now it just says made in Malaysia. I think it used to say designed in the USA, made in Malaysia, or anyway, whatever it is. It looks slightly different is what I'm trying to say. So that was the first thing I noticed. Other than that, it looked absolutely fine. So I've actually installed it. I think it was in this specific motherboard here. So this is the B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi from MSI. And I've actually got an MSI Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, which has got the 7700X in, which used to be in that PC. So when I change that platform out, that is still there. So I have got that board as well for doing testing on. My initial problem was when I actually installed this, put it all in, I got some RAM as well, I think I used the Thermaltake RAM as well, but I've used this. This is the Crucial Pro RAM. Some of you have possibly seen the reviews for this already. I'm not sure if it's out yet, actually. But this is actually really good value stuff. DDR5 CL36, so it's not the fastest, but it's 6,000 megatransfers per second, supports Expo and also XMP, which is a really nice thing because not all RAM does that these days, which is weird. So, I was in between doing something or other. I had a couple of jobs on the go, so I didn't give it my full attention. So I got my Windows 11 installation, got this all kind of on a platform. I think it was the review of the Arctic Freezer 36 cooler, which actually went out on Friday. So that's probably, yesterday. So it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago that I actually last looked at this platform and seen what was going on. And it was really weird. So got my Windows 11 installation USB stick, started going through the installation, and normally you get to a point where it comes up saying about connecting to the internet, blah, blah, blah. Type in your user ID, make yourself a Microsoft account. We got to that point where it was, is that Ugly Bob done that? Ugly Bob sent a nice picture of me actually in NSYNC. Those
Ugly Bob next to you.
those me and Bob. Bob was the lead singer. Was I just in Trouser Snake? Maybe I was, I don't know. I don't know who it is. Anyway, I did the installation, got to the bit where it says about putting your username and password in, but it didn't come up with that. It came up with a you're not connected to the internet. So that was the first thing which I thought, well, that's odd. Normally these B650 boards, they've got the Realtek RTL 8125 2.5 gigabit Ethernet chipset in, which is widely supported with Windows 11 installations. It was a new version of Windows 11, a new ISO, so I didn't give it that much thought, but I went through the process, connected up the Wi-Fi, which wasn't connected previously, done all the stuff, and managed to get in. But I kept on noticing that the LAN was dropping out. When I was doing the Windows setup, I was installing the AMD drivers, and the AMD installer crashed. I was thinking, well, what's going on here? This is a little bit unusual because it's a brand spanking new platform, fresh installation, the memory I've used elsewhere, the board appears to be fine. Got some weird gremlins going on here. So I persisted with it anyway, and then trying to download something like Hardware Monitor, started downloading it, and it would get to the point where, like, Hardware Monitor is a tiny program. I think it's like a few megabytes, if that. And it wouldn't download, or it'd download very slowly, or you'd see the megabytes per second, or megabytes per second, like dropping and dropping down to 0. I'm like, this is weird. There's some bizarre things going on here. So switched over to Wi-Fi, absolutely fine. So I'm thinking, okay, weird. Maybe it's the cable coming from the other side of the room, which has been tucked down there. The cable gets moved around, and we're using Cat5 cabling, or Cat5e to be more precise. And Cat5e has got little metal strands in it, so the more you coil it up and bend it and stuff, you get breakdowns in the cable. So something I would possibly need to do is to create a new cable from the switch over there and run it round to this side for testing. That is something which I've been planning to do anyway. This is going to be one of those things where it's going to kind of jumpstart that a little bit. Anyway, so that cable generally actually works with other setups, and I've been using it actually today on my laptop. So the cable appears to be okay, but potentially there still could be an issue with it. So I want to rule that out. The other, what was it? There was another issue. I can't remember what the other issue. Oh, I did a benchmark. I did a Cinebench run, and the score came in about 2,000 points less than it should be, which initially I thought, that's a slightly odd thing as well. I've got a pretty decent cooler here, but the results aren't quite what they should be. So again, go through the process, rebooted, made sure there's no Windows updates. There was a couple of things that were updating, and it was kind of all over the place. So I've still got my doubts about either potentially the motherboard, maybe the onboard LAN chip, maybe it's not good, maybe it's just bad in general. So potentially I might need to do a BIOS flash on this board, although I think I have done a BIOS flash because we did a review of this. So I need to check that to see if I have actually done that or not. I'm pretty sure that was one of the first things I would do with this motherboard anyway when I reviewed it. So there's various things on here which potentially could be causing a problem. Now I've actually raised an RMA with the company that sold it, and they've actually agreed for the RMA. So they said just, yeah, they've sent me a return label. It's going to be returned to a UK location rather than going directly to China, whatever. So it seems there is a distribution hub actually in the UK. So all the Chinese stuff from these companies comes to one place in the UK, it seems, or an area in the UK, and then it gets shipped out from them via Royal Mail or whatever it is. I think potentially that's how they kind of maybe have a little bit of a thing going with the customs. Not entirely sure, but anyway, it does seem, I wish I actually had the address from the previous one as well, but anyway, that's by the by. So we've got some issues here. I'm not entirely sure it's the processor. I've got a very limited window. I think it's another 5 to 7 days to actually get the processor returned if it is faulty. So I was looking for something to do on tonight's live stream. I knew I had this in the pipeline, so I'm thinking, what the hell, let's just do it. Let's see if this processor is actually duff, and we'll see what we can do. I wish now, in hindsight, I'd have put the other 7700X, 7700 that I've got in the stream PC, taken that out, replaced it with the X version, so I had two, in theory, identical 7700s, so I could kind of benchmark between the two and see what the deal is. So, potentially dodgy motherboard, potentially dodgy processor, possibly dodgy RAM. I don't think so, but hopefully we're going to try and find out tonight. But before we do that, we'll answer some of your questions, say hello to some of you, and Cav's got her hand up as well, so I better answer that question.
Right, Mark Berry says, is AliExpress a bit dodgy to buy from?
Okay.
And secondly, can you Dutch Jam? Tagged you in it.
Oh, Dutch. Right, let's have a look.
So,
So Mark Berry's question first of all, is AliExpress dodgy to buy from? So that is, that's the kind of the age-old question. It's like with anything, if you're buying online, whether it's from eBay, AliExpress, Alibaba, Temu, Wish, the list goes on and on. There are certain things you can do to kind of limit your exposure. So always use a credit card if you can. If you can't use a credit card, use PayPal or some form of escrow, or however you pronounce it. So at least if there is a problem with the transaction, you'll be, we've got some levels of protection. Now, fortunately with AliExpress, pretty much all of the AliExpress stores have also got AliExpress protection. So not only have you got your protection from your card issuer or from PayPal, you've also got it from AliExpress themselves. And I will say, in defense of AliExpress, I know sometimes they get a little bit of a bad rap, but in general, any problems I've had previously, I did buy a Windows, no, I'm lying, it was an Office key, an Office 20 whatever it was key, like one of those universal keys, and I think it's about £2 or £3, and I thought, well, I'll try it, see what it's like. Got it, didn't work, or it worked very shortly, I can't remember, it was a while back now anyway. But straight away, got onto AliExpress, said, look, basically this key doesn't work, and the money appeared back in the account very, very swiftly. So there was no problems with that. I haven't had any real kind of large purchases. I did have an issue with a graphics card I bought. Some of you may remember that. It was the RX 580 or the 570, depending on which way you look at it. So the RX 580, the Millsy ones, I think it was. I think I bought one or two of those, and one of them had a dodgy fan. So they did a partial refund on that. So I would say with AliExpress, like anything, there are going to be potentially sellers on there which are going to be slightly less legit, let's say, than others. But overall, I will say my AliExpress shopping experience has been pretty much excellent. Can't really fault it. And without AliExpress, where would Bob buy all the stuff that he sends us? Come on. AliExpress is great, it really is. And actually, saying that, those 2.5 gigabit Ethernet switches, one of which Bob bought, or did he buy two? Can't remember. He bought, I've got 3 of them in total. So I think he bought 1 and I bought 2. But they turned up, worked exactly as they were supposed to, and were actually better than the ones I had. So yeah, my overall experience of AliExpress, I would say, is pretty positive. So if you're thinking of buying stuff, yeah, don't be kind of too gullible. You've got to have your wits about you a bit. Like anything, if it looks too good to be true, generally it is. But there's a lot of stores, when we're looking at the AM5 processors, there's actually a lot of different stores on AliExpress, all selling them at similar prices. So it does make you wonder where the actual money goes when you're buying one of these as a retail product from Amazon. Like if it was £300 or £280 on Amazon or CCL or eBuyer, whatever, and it was maybe from AliExpress, it was maybe, I don't know, 250, 240. You think, oh, that's a reasonable saving. Maybe it's the difference between the dollar exchange rates, etc., shipping, whatever. But to be basically half the price does beg the question of what the fuck is going on. It's really mental. I do apologise for swearing, but it really is. It makes you wonder how many other things are being ridiculously overpriced.
Tesco.
Because, yeah, Tesco for one this year. If anyone's been listening to the news recently, it just seems like insane pricing. So, yeah, you can pick this up at the moment for £152, I think it is, as of today. I paid less because there was a discount code, but there's generally always a discount code on of some sort. But you cannot, in the UK, buy like a 7500F for that money. Even those are kind of 180. So this is a fantastic, or potentially a fantastic saving if it actually works. And thank you very much for the super chat.
It wasn't a super
Oh,
chat.
it was not a super chat. It was
membership.
a new membership by George T. George Sonev. Have I pronounced that right? Thank you for helping support the channel. Much appreciated.
My eyes are gone now.
Yeah, my eye's gone a bit funny now. I shouldn't look at that damn thing.
What are mates making a drink?
Ugly Bob says, I've never had any major issues with AliExpress. One time I had a bit of an issue. They sent a new one out that day. It's good stuff. Bob says, I think I sent the 4-port and the 8-port. That's right. And I bought the other 8-port. Much appreciated, Bob. Thank you very much. So, yeah, that is kind of where we are and what is going on. What was the other question? There was another question that somebody had. Who was the other question from, Kath? Nick Barnes, was it? Question, are there still motherboard issues with low-end B650 motherboards? There are issues. I'm not sure about issues, but the VRMs on the lower-end boards, I think Hardware Unboxed did a video today on it. Some of the very low-end B650 boards aren't ideal for 16-core processors. Like the 7950X 3D or 79, whatever it is, the top of the range AM5 processor, they're not really designed for that. The budget boards are budget for a reason, because they are reduced feature set generally. Now, the awkward thing is at the moment, especially in Australia and potentially the USA, is the difference in price between the extreme entry-level boards and the kind of mid-range boards is really, really narrowed down. So there's only maybe sometimes $10, $20, even $30 difference between a kind of slightly more trash tier board than a reasonable mid-range board. So I think that is where there is a little bit of overlapping, depending where you're shopping and when you're comparing prices. You will see potentially really good boards, such as the ASRock RS Pro RS, Wi-Fi, whatever it is about £10 dearer than some of the like more trashy boards like the MSI M-P. The M-A is a pretty good board though, but the M-P and what's the other one? The Asus. Is it Asus? There's M-K, I think it is. There's some reasonably low-end boards, and they are basically for your lower-end processors, like your Ryzen 5s, your Ryzen 7s at the most. They do physically support the Ryzen 9s, but the VRM just isn't designed for it. Maybe for smaller kind of bursty workloads, should be okay, but for kind of long-term rendering, if you're running a Cinebench for an hour, it's not going to be good for that. Who was the other question from, Kath? Did you say?
Dutch Jan.
Dutch Jan. Let me see. Dutch Jan.
It's highlighted.
Ah, right, okay. I can see now. Dutch Jan. I'm also having issues with the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on my B550 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. There are... I'm going to get absolutely slated for this, but I will say it anyway. AMD drivers have somewhat of a history of being slightly hit or miss. Now, a lot of people, when I've talked about buying an RTX 4070 against the 7800 XT, loads of people were really, really upset with me. And I mean proper upset, like very fanboyish, saying, oh, the 7800 XT is far, far superior. And I think I mentioned about AMD drivers in the video. And everyone's like, AMD drivers are fantastic now, they're much better. It's like, okay, I'll give you that. They are much better. But they have a history, and I would say arguably for people getting involved on the AM5 platform, because it's new, the chipset drivers and potentially the associated drivers for other bits which are linked onto it, such as your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, your audio situation, those kinds of things, there are going to be problems. Almost guaranteed. Because it's a new platform and AMD are kind of transitioning across. So they've got a much, much wider range or gamut of products they need to support. So they don't have the money basically, or the R&D to focus on all these individual things and give them their full attention. So they're going to be chopping and changing. Obviously the B550 range, there's a massive install base out there, but AMD are going to be looking at the current platform and potentially looking towards the future platform as well. I'm not sure why you're having an issue with your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but if it's because the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card is maybe failing, that potentially could be a problem. It could be to do with the chipset drivers not communicating through that M.2 E-key device. It's very hard to diagnose, but if it's with specifically your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth, I would say that probably points towards the actual Wi-Fi card. If it was your Ethernet as well, then I would look probably more towards a Windows issue. But being that it's isolated to that kind of specific chip, I would suggest it's possibly the M.2 card. And they don't last forever, so it's a little bit of trial and error. Robert says, my 7700 didn't want to run internet either, had to install internet drivers from other PC for some reason. So yeah, it appears that I'm not on my own, and actually judging by the massive responses we've had to the Windows 11 how to log in without using a Microsoft account password and username and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people were having similar issues where they would find that because it's a brand new platform, Windows didn't have the drivers built in for Wi-Fi or LAN, so they could kind of bypass these things or to get it to fail. So it is very much, we're kind of on that tipping point where we're waiting for Windows 11, the installation, to kind of catch up with the current hardware on the market, which it will happen, but we'll see. So let's have a look through.
Fred Affinity, CPU Top is a good store. Server CPU.
Yeah, CPU Top seems to be pretty legit. I've bought numerous CPUs from them. I'm pretty sure I think I had a 7600, a 7500F, and a 7700. I've had quite a few from them. That was all before Christmas. Aletta says, I know my Bluetooth isn't working. I forgot to attach the antenna leads. That might do it. O'Reilly says, that Shift F10 command prompt, the out-of-box experience bypass NRO will not work if your device has come with Windows in S mode. Good point. Thank you. Didn't know that. I'm still actually yet to see a device with Windows in S mode. But we'll see. Rick H says Windows 10 is as far as I go. You've got about a year left then. Which is sad. So, I think we are probably at a point now where I can start putting this together and seeing what actually does. I'm going to go through a basic install, see what happens. I might need to make up a cable, so I'm kind of back of my mind. I've got my cable to one side here. I've got my teeth ready and my crimping tool, so we'll maybe try and do that. Capon Capono, I'm going to just call you Capono because I don't want to say the 5150 at the end because it's just too many words. It says, hope you guys are saving for a 50 series. Yeah, I think that's not going to be cheap, is it? Riley says he has some orders for work refurbished laptops. They have arrived with Windows in S mode. Okay. Viali says, come on, Mike, get it working. We will. We'll get it working. It's going to be interesting to see. It might have just been me. It might be the motherboard. But we'll see what we can do. So I think at this point we're probably going to transfer to the overhead camera so you guys can see, well, guys and girls I should say, so you can see what I'm actually doing, and we'll take it step by step. And if I'm going to make any mistakes, please do point them out in the chat there. If I don't answer or Kath doesn't see it or highlight it, just at me, and I will. Kath's got her hand up at me.
Jason Wood wants to know how the kittens are.
Jason Wood, kittens, they're doing good.
I did have my hand up, Jason.
Sorry, Jason. Yeah, the kittens are doing well. They're much bigger. They
sat behind my desk at the minute.
they are mostly hiding. Now, I should actually get. Yes, I have. So normally, when it comes to Wi-Fi antennas, because I don't really use Wi-Fi on units in the house because I've got a nice fast wired connection. So. And also this room is absolutely awful for Wi-Fi. Always has been, because it's in the middle of the house and we've got 3 access points, they all overlap each other. So it actually makes it worse. Now, I've been doing some measurements today actually, funny enough, and I did some installation of OpenWRT on my routers. And that actually has a good application built in so you can check your strength of the surrounding Wi-Fi's and your Wi-Fi. And yeah, it seems that because the house isn't quite big enough for the routers, because of where they are, there's a strong overlap, especially literally where I am here. So our living room is behind us there. The kitchen area is that way. And above me, literally above me, there is a router.
So could we get rid of that one?
And there is one literally behind me in that room. So that one's about 8, no, actually it's on top of wardrobe. So that one's about 15, 16 foot away. And the one in that room is about 15, 16 foot away. So it's made a really weird setup for the Wi-Fi in this room. It's a pain in the backside. Anyway, Wi-Fi, we might do a video up on that actually on how to install OpenWRT on a router. I don't feel I know quite enough about it at the moment, so that may not happen quite as quickly as I'd like. Yes, Kath?
Rick said don't forget your head torch, but I tried passing it to you, but you're charging it.
The head torch is currently on charge, literally just out of shot there.
And if I scream, it's because Davy Jones knocks my cup off the desk.
So, there we are. William Bodie says, what way is Rome then? I don't know. Well, that is north, that way.
Oh, Jason's off.
So, that is south. East is that way. West is that way. So, I don't know. Hello, Joe G. Right, there we go. Let's get this. Cheers, Jason. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. So let's go with the overhead camera. Let's move that forward a little bit and hopefully it's light enough. I may have to get the head torch on, we'll see. So this is the MSI B650 Gaming Plus. And let's get our CPU ready. And I won't be putting a contact frame on here at the moment because I don't really think that is necessary currently. And just taking a look at the CPU, doesn't appear to be anything on there. I suppose I could give it a wipe over with some alcohol. That's probably not a bad idea. Thank you, whoever's just suggested that in the chat. Oh no, no one suggested that. It was just my good idea. Thank you.
I was going to suggest that.
Me being a smart ass, I can't. Well, the thing is, if I use my own spittle and I clean it and then it doesn't work, someone's going to say, well, that's because you're an idiot and you licked it. Aren't they? So at least if I do this, this is what you should do. So this is a isopropyl alcohol cleaning wipe for cleaning, well, computer components and the like.
Can you show us what's written on the chip?
Yeah, I can try to do that. Yeah, sure. In fact, actually, if you look at the thumbnail for the video, that is probably the biggest close-up you can get of it. That is the that is exactly this chip. So I photographed it for the actual video thumbnail. But let me see if I can get it in focus for you. I'm not sure if I will be able to. I don't think this has got a particularly close focus. Right, let me try it on the other camera.
Change it over before you walk over there.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that would be
Like you will.
that would be super annoying. Right, is that visible?
Kind of. Wait, a bit of light shining on it. I don't know how delayed you are. You're better off looking at that one.
Let's see.
Not really. Ah, here we go.
There you go. Is that visible?
Put it over towards the monitor a little bit more. It's got a line for it. There we go. Maybe. No, you've angled it wrong.
I think that's about the best I can do. You should be able to see it from that. There you go. And that was actually quite good because it's given me a chance for the alcohol to dry off, and it looks okay. Actually, it looks like there was some residue on there from this, so I'm going to get a. Oh, I don't want a paper towel, do I? I want cotton. I've got cotton on my t-shirt.
Did you hear?
Hello, Stuart Cleary. How you doing?
I don't think he's still there though.
Yeah, he's just done a super sticker thing. Right, let's go back to the overhead. So we'll undo the side mount. We'll flip up the CPU socket cover. Now with the new Ryzen, you just basically have the writing so that it looks the right way up. Actually, right, before I do that, I'm going to get the head torch, because I don't want there to be anything actually that can go wrong on this. So I'm going to get the head torch on, and I'll put it on the slightly dimmer view, so we can get a good look at the sockets. So that socket to me looks absolutely pristine. You guys probably won't be able to see that. Give it a good blow, just to be on the safe side.
Magic tap.
Magic tap. Magic tap with a screwdriver on the pins. I'm just going to match that up. And just make sure that is secure in there, which it appears to be. So let me get my head torch on a moment. I think my head's lost weight. And I'm just going to gently put that down, leave that into position, and put that to one side. So that is our CPU installed, ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to be using the stock AMD cooler.
Oh, you should get a sooty puppet, and then you could.
So I'll remove these.
With his wand.
Let's go back to the main camera. There you go. You can see how daft I look.
Oh, God, blinding.
Sorry, let me angle that down so it doesn't destroy the camera. It might still be destroying the camera. I do apologise.
It looks worse now, I think.
How does it? It's very bright. Yeah, I'll turn it off now. I don't really need it at the moment. And let's clear the message off the screen. Right, so we've got our brackets taken off. So let's grab our stock cooler, and I'm going to use this one. This is from a Ryzen 7600. It's nothing special, it's just the stock AMD cooler, which is basically the same as the one that was on the AM4 range. I don't believe there's any difference. I think it's still the same exact unit.
Wayne Taylor.
Hello, Wayne Taylor.
Got 20
Got 20
X670E boards there to bought in bulk, 45 Aussie each. with bent socket pins, resoldered all new sockets, and been selling off like hotcakes.
Jesus.
350.
I wish I had the ability to do that, to do some soldering and to do that. That's brilliant. If you've got the machinery to do it, that is excellent.
The skills more so, isn't it? As well.
Well, without being rude, I don't think you need a great deal of skill to do that, because I think it's a machine, you just put it in and it kind of bakes it. I could be wrong. I can't imagine you're soldering each pin.
I see what you mean. I thought it was like the whole socket thing would be just resoldered in.
Right, let's get this attached.
Joe says, saw the title. I have had decent luck with AliExpress CPUs so far. Two 5800X3D and two 11900KFs and two 10600K. They've all been great. Did you hear any of that?
I did. I'm glad that you've had a lot of luck with them. To be honest with you, in general, I have. I haven't been buying in kind of big numbers, as you can probably guess. But I've probably had about 5 in total. And actually, Dave Aiken, who is a long-time channel member, lives actually locally, he's actually got his 7700X that he bought at the same time on Facebook Marketplace at the moment for, I think, 180. It was 200, so I think he's just reduced it a little bit. So if you're in and around this area, or you maybe even post it to you, if you want a cheap 7700, which probably is from the same place I got mine, then it might be worth finding that. It's on Facebook Marketplace. If you look up 7700X, look for Dave. And before you ask, I'm not on commission. As lovely as that would be.
So with AliExpress, like Barry asks, can you get caught out with hidden charges like customs and foreign taxes?
Right, the way that it works with your taxation and stuff. So, legally speaking, any purchases under, I think it's 130 or 135 pounds, are automatically VAT, customs and stuff is added on at the time of purchase. If it's over 130 pounds, then the onus is on the shipping company and also the person who's buying it to pay any duties which are due. Now, if your parcel gets stopped at customs, potentially then you will get charged for it, and you may get a letter from DPD or Royal Mail saying that they have a parcel but it's being withheld until the customs duty is paid. Now, I will say, at the time of this, I've only ever had that once or twice with AirPods years ago, but since they've changed the £135 limit, it basically never happens, as far as I can tell. It might, so don't take that as being gospel, but yeah, the onus is basically on you and the seller to kind of figure that stuff out, because basically you're becoming an importer. Right, CPU fan. Yeah, plus the paperwork fee for them doing it. So yeah, potentially you can get stung. The theory is, if you're buying something like this specific thing, then because you're saving like £150, if you pay £12.50 extra for some tax, plus the tax on £150, which will be about another 20 quid, you're still at least, well, £100 better off than you would have been. So it's a gamble either way. Yes, Kath?
Rick asks, are you using his Grizzly?
I'm not, no, because this is going to be just a test bench. No, the Thermal Grizzly is here.
Kept for best.
Kept for best, yeah. I will be using that, but not on this, no. This is going to be, I just put some cheap crap on there. Actually, I don't think that was cheap crap. It was TF7, which is actually quite good stuff. But yeah, I've not used the Thermal Grizzly on this. Now that makes me wonder that those RAM slots didn't fully seat themselves. Oh well, okay. So we need a drive in here. So where did I leave the M.2 drive? Now, I've got two M.2 drives. One's got an operating system on, one hasn't. So let's grab the M.2, and hopefully this is the one that has got the operating system, and then we'll nuke it and put another one on. Question from Dom says, what PC,
No,
what this PC will be for? Well, it depends if it works or not. That is going to be one of the contributing factors. At the moment, I'm a bit of a kind of a crux at the moment because I've got a couple of cases which I need to do reviews on, but they're micro ATX, but I don't have any micro ATX boards at the moment. So I think I'm going to have to go and find myself a micro ATX board. These will be, well, I'm still waiting and hoping that at some point Kath's going to decide that she does actually want her computer upgraded. So she'll get rid of the 2600 and jump into the future. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Bob gave me that.
Yeah, Welly Bob donated that ages ago, and also William Bodie donated the graphics card. So
Too loyal.
Kath's very loyal. She's sticking with what she's got. But yeah, we're in a bit of a funny position at the moment where there's quite a few kind of systems and platforms which I've not quite finished. I have got a system under the desk here which I'm supposed to be listing for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but I've not got around to doing it yet. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind on everything, to be honest. It's terrible.
Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster. What is the fate of the previous build with the 4900 BTF? That's gone back. So that was just on loan from Asus via Thermaltake UK. Thanks, Adam, if you're watching. Yeah, so I'll confess, I never even benchmarked that 4900. Sorry, the 4090. For a couple of reasons. One, I think it's just, although the technology is cool, it's just ridiculously expensive, isn't it? Let's be fair. Like, best part of £2,000 for a graphics card. Like, £1,000 for a graphics card is ridiculous. So £2,000 for a graphics card is more ridiculous, I think, personally. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I think actually anything more than £500 for a graphics card is bloody stupid. But it is kind of where we are with things at the moment, so there ain't a lot you can do about it.
G1.
G110, hi.
No, above.
RTX 1700 XT Nitro or 4080 Super. It depends. If you're just playing games and you don't really use much of the Unreal Engine, or you don't use a lot of ray tracing, then the 1700 XTX is got to be the winner, really. If you are a content creator, then you will know already that you're probably going to have to go with the 4080 Super, because try as AMD might, they still cannot beat NVIDIA when it comes to Premiere Pro. They're still really playing catch up there, which is unfortunate. Capon 5150 says I would go 4800 all day. I think at the moment, if you're spending a lot of money on a graphics card, I would say don't, because the new graphics cards are like not that far away. The 5080 and the 5090 are going to be probably, I don't know, 5 months away, maybe a bit more. And if the same is true as what normally happens, then you're going to be paying roughly the same sort of money, but for almost double the performance, or climbing up the stack. So the 5080 would effectively be the same speed as a 4090 for possibly about £1,000. So yeah, that's a pretty decent saving, or potentially a decent saving if it's actually any good, which we won't know until it arrives. So it's very speculative at the moment. And of course AMD are readying things as well, which potentially might not be as fast, but I think at the moment, at this particular time, this is the time where you kind of either make do with what you've got, or if you can pick up a bargain, then maybe look at something. But yeah, it's a very tricky time to find a high-end graphics card at the moment. But do look out for bargains. And if you do find a bargain, then use our Amazon affiliate links. Yes, Kath? Muck Tony. I can't even see Muck Tony.
That's because you're chatting too long.
I'm not very good at multitasking, to be fair. McTony. I can't even see McTony.
That's good, you can
How far up is
one
that?
thing at a time properly.
I can't even do
It
that.
says about not that far. What's the super like on power usage?
Oh, McTony, there we go. What's the super like on power usage? What, the 4070 Super? Or 4080? 4080 Super, I think it still uses about 300 watts or 280 watts under full load. So it's still pretty juicy, but I think that's about 80 watts less than the 7900 XT, and the XTX uses even more. I don't know. I try not to follow it too much if I can possibly help it. Has anybody watched Fallout? There's a question. I've actually watched the whole series. I binge watched it in 2 days. It would have been 1 day, but I thought I'd better go to bed. Thank you for the super chat. No, thank you for the memberships. Michael T, how you doing, Michael T? Thank you very much. Michael T is gifted 10 Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To memberships. So if you're new here and this is the first time you've joined us, then potentially you may be gifted a membership, in which case you can gain access to a special level on our Discord, and also you will get access to videos much, much sooner than regular peasants. I mean people. It's not that much quicker actually. It's quicker on Patreon, but it's because YouTube and Google take way too much money. The swines. Are you going to read out who they are? So let's read out who they are. So Capono5150 is gifted a membership. Rob was also gifted. Baron Grod. This Way Up was also gifted a membership by Michael T. Mark Marlowe. Nice one, Mark. Neil Beaumont also. Vizali. And Kenny D. Also, David's Drones, Adventures and Gaming, how you doing? Was gifted a membership. And Thomas Vera. Hurrah, Mr. Vera. You are now one of our members. Enjoy. And stop blinding me. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. And of course, if you don't like giving Google your credit card details or whatever, if you don't want a YouTube membership, you can always join us on Patreon. There is a free tier actually on Patreon, so you can join for free on there as well, and you get some access. If you want to support the channel directly, there are Patreon levels, I think from about £2 upwards. So that way, because of how it's worked out, because Patreon started before memberships, the Patreon level is much, much lower. So if you do want to help support us, then Patreon is probably a good way to do it, but it is one of those kind of monthly subscription things, so it'll keep on going until you cancel. That's because I connected that up, I expect. Hello? Can you hear me? Is the camera gone flat? Oh. Right. Sorry, technical issues. Yeah, there we go. Is that working? Yeah. I'm not too sure what happened there. I unplugged the HDMI lead and plugged it back in. I don't know. I've actually ordered from Amazon today a UK mains plug tester, so you can plug it into your sockets, because I'm sure there's something not right going on with the power delivery system down here. When I say the power delivery system, I mean the wall socket. But then there's a lot of stuff plugged into it, so I don't know. Right, let's turn that on, and we get no signal again. And it comes back. Yeah, there's definitely something not right with that power socket down there. It was my fault. I bought a cheap one off Amazon with a built-in USB plugs and stuff on it. And I've tried 2 different surge plugs off that, and it still plays up. So anyway, that's my problems, not yours. So let's not get bogged down by the details. I've got my little Logitech keyboard. I haven't used this in ages. This is the K400 Plus. This is one of the videos which actually kind of started off the channel, to be honest, when I first got this. And there's somebody on UK Hot Deals who sent me the funniest letter ever, like a proper letter in the form of an email. And yeah, it was just the most bizarre email I've ever received. I've probably read it out at some point on the streams and stuff, but yeah, it was absolutely hilarious, some of the stuff he was coming out with.
You're like Greek yogurt.
Matthew Day, £2. Thank you, Matthew Day. Says AliExpress Maxon B650M Wi-Fi looks good. 69.90. 69.68 on a deal. That sounds like a potential. That might be a winner for us. You never know. Right, let's pull out my Ethernet cable. That isn't code. Yeah, Ethernet cables. I'm still not entirely sure if one of the cats hasn't chewed this. I do like to blame the cats for many things that go wrong in this house.
Never mind.
It's never me. Never, ever.
Never.
So, let me...
Not you, is it Maisie?
I'm gonna put in the Wi-Fi antennae. Is it antenna or antennae? Because it's more than one. Well, that one don't want to go in anyway. So maybe I've broken that one already.
Did you put the 990 Pro drive in?
990 Pro. I haven't got a 990 Pro.
Maybe it's not for you.
Oh.
I don't know.
They're saying stutters now. Is it stuttering? 1, 2.
I can't see, must see that. Where's it? Who's saying that?
That was Dom. So it stutters now.
I haven't got that on mine.
Where's my other keyboard? I've got too many keyboards here now. Let's escape that.
Oh, good here.
Did the camera get warm?
I think you're a bit behind, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Did you put the 990 Pro? That's just come up on the screen there. All good here. All good here. Looks good on my phone. Thank you. Just had Stuart Cleary just had beans on toast with real butter. Amazing. That is what we want.
Yeah, we might. Let's have that tomorrow. Oh, we got to buy some bread.
Yeah, we better buy some bread.
We not had bread for weeks now.
Got to buy some bread. Right, let's get the monitor out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this just running quickly on this monitor, but then what I might do is I do have an additional HDMI port actually on the capture card now. So what could go wrong plugging in another HDMI to the capture card?
Yeah,
Surely nothing to go. Oh yeah. Right, can we stop talking about food, please? Because I'm hungry. Right. Good luck, everybody. And don't say bang. We can put the bang in post-production. I can't even see where the bloody pins are.
Bang!
Would you not do that? For those of you that are new here, whenever I turn stuff on, Kath generally says bang, just to scare the bejesus out of me.
But you're a bit too aware.
It does seem to work. Right, let's hit delete a few times.
Oh, Rick. I know they called him Rib then. Would like
Kelly says bank.
1.5-inch boneless ribeye.
Right, I can't see what that says, so I'm going to have to come around this side. Oh, it's carried on. See, that's another thing which this system seems to do. Like, at that point, it should have said that it's changed processor. Do you want to continue, yes or no? But it didn't give me the chance, it just went past it anyway. Look, it's done it again. Why would you do that? So that is one of the things that happens straight away. And I was like, why? Why would you just carry on doing that? It was like someone's been pressing keys. Actually, that was something. Yes, that was the other thing. So whilst I was actually in Windows setting up something, I was typing into like Google or the Bing engine. I think it's probably Bing because that was the first one that's on there. I was trying to type in AMD drivers, and I could type in AM, and then it was like frozen, so it wouldn't have anything else. And then about 10-20 seconds later, all the rest of the text would appear. Or it would look like I've held down a key when I hadn't held down a key. So I'd press like AMD, and it'd be like AMD, loads of Ds. So it's almost like there's something in the USB bus, possibly. I don't know. There's some weird shit going on. Anyway.
Kieran's in.
Hey Kieran, how you doing? Good to see you. Right, I'm using the mouse for the other screen. which I shouldn't be using.
I would clear BIOS with button on back or dumper on motherboard before booting.
Right, okay, let's, well, I'll tell you what we can do. I'm not too sure how well you can see that screen, but hopefully you can see it well enough.
Is that because Windows is checking for updates? Bad keyboard.
Well, that is another reason why I'm using this keyboard. So this hasn't been used for donkeys. I was using this one while I was doing the initial testing.
Tetting?
When I was doing the initial testing, I was using this one. So I think what I'll do is, if we go into advanced and...
Toog just now.
Hey Toad, how you doing?
Toog.
Toog, sorry. Is your BIOS update?
Me.
So the current BIOS build date on this is from the 6th of February 2024, which you might just be able to see there. That should be in focus because it is in plane with my face, and it has got face tracking enabled currently. So that's Marion C says it's visible. Excellent. So as far as I know, that is the latest BIOS that is available for this. There might be a slightly newer one because they've had the I think that one was the one that got rid of the Stampum or whatever it's called, but this should be, I think it's a relatively new BIOS. It's like a month old, so it should be okay.
So isolate USB mouse and keyboard by plugging them into PCIe USB adapter or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It might come to that. We'll see. I'm using a completely different keyboard and mouse, so I can at least rule out the fact that it's the keyboard, which I don't think it is, to be honest with you. And I'm currently plugged into the USB 3.2 Gen 1 5 gigabit per second ports. The reason being is because there aren't any USB 2s on here, bizarrely. Yes, Kath.
Toog. Easier to read than
Toog says, recent enough then, is RAM at JDEC. Yeah, it's just done a boot for the first time. I think the CMOS has been cleared, but what I will do, I will enable Expo, and that is it. And then we'll let it reboot and see what happens.
Thanos says nice monitor.
Thanks, Thanos. So hopefully this is, well, yeah, hopefully this is the drive with Windows on it. It might be.
50-50. Phone a friend.
Yeah, it is a 50-50 because I had two drives and I was like, well, where's the other drive gone? I was like, oh, I've left it in the other board. So we should be doing RAM training right now. And that was the other thing that was weird with the Ethernet. So when the Ethernet stopped working in Windows, I could physically unplug the Ethernet and then plug it back in, and it would work normally for a little while, then stop again. So
Is it just this motherboard, Mike? Have you tried with another motherboard?
I think I did put that processor into another motherboard, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
If you can't remember off the top, you're not going to remember.
Yeah, I think
Silly answer.
I should have done like a little spreadsheet and wrote down, or written down even, all the things I did. And now it's not booting. What have we got? Have we got an error message? No. Oh, there we go. Got a VGA, no VGA. Here we go. It was having a think about it.
In Weird
It's
Accent,
fine.
what I have noticed is some chips don't work properly without enabling PBO. My theory is sometimes worse chips aren't getting enough voltage to function properly.
In a weird accent, that is actually a very, very valid point. Maybe it is. Maybe it is that these chips are somehow chips which didn't quite pass quality control and they need a little bit of extra voltage, so enabling PBO would be the answer in theory. So yeah, you never know. Capono says he's got to start writing this down. I do need to write it down. So clearly this is the one with the Windows installation on it. So currently we have the Ethernet connected. And I'm going to turn off the Wi-Fi because that way I will know if it's lost connection. Yes, Kath. Thanos. Hey Mike, I have a question. there is a Windows update that I can't install it. Microsoft gave me some instructions on how to install, but it's difficult for me because it needs to use commands.
Discord.
Yeah, maybe mention it on our Discord. I will put the link in if you haven't got it already. Same goes for anyone else if you're watching. If you've got any technical problems which probably can't be answered in the scope of a live stream, head over to Discord and we will do our best to try and answer your questions. Or yeah, if you just want to talk nonsense with other like-minded people.
I didn't like to say that. And Michael T.
Hello, Michael T. Michael T. Clear CMOS. Sometimes changing CPUs in motherboards causes glitches like that. You may need to reinstall Windows as AMD Drivers corrupts with CPU change. I will definitely be bearing that in mind. I'm not too sure if this is the reinstall or the install. Toog. Has Mike tried something called Snappy Driver Installer Origin to sort out drivers? Yes, I actually did a video on that. That's one of our better viewed videos actually. Many moons ago. People used to say, don't use Snappy Driver Origin, it's full of viruses. It's like, no, the copies of the program that people pretend to be Snappy Driver Installer have got dodgy stuff in them. Use the proper one and you'll be all right. And the link is in the video. Right, this appears to be... Ah, there we go. So we've lost internet connectivity. But the Ethernet port on the back is showing that it's fine.
What temp are you getting?
Temperatures are... I can't even see it. Where is it? Oh, I'm scrolling the wrong way. Temperature, CPU core is at 43 with the stock cooler. And it's making a horrible noise, horrible buzzing noise. That's much better. Thanos, second question. Should I clean install Windows 11 or can I install them as it is without losing any files? Yeah, you can do a in-place repair install. We've done a video on that. Literally, you can just download the Windows Setup installer, run it from your desktop, you can install Windows 11 over the top of itself and it doesn't change any of your settings. All it does is update the registry and the system files themselves. We have done a video on that. Wayne, with the errors you have started, it sounds more like V-Core power. Okay, V-Core power. I don't know if it's actually undervolted or anything on here. I may have actually gone into Precision Boost Overdrive and done that. So you probably can't see it at the moment, but it's definitely there.
So it feels like it's a MOBO or driver issue rather than the CPU.
I'm thinking it probably is a motherboard, to be fair.
O'Reilly, have you tried disabling IPv6 on the Ethernet and Wi-Fi adapter configuration?
I haven't done, but I don't think I should have to.
Jake says that's a good shout, O'Reilly.
It should, because my router is a Virgin Media one, the new SuperHub 5, that doesn't support IPv6. And my mesh system doesn't support IPv6 either. I think it's actually disabled on there. So it shouldn't be trying to use IPv6 anyway. But that is a good shout. So if I unplug the Ethernet, now at the moment the Ethernet lights, which I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that actually. Let me see if I can give you a close-up of this. This is a really weird problem and I don't get it. So there is, hopefully, you can just about see that. So there's the Ethernet lights on the back. So currently we have got a flashing amber light on the left hand side and a flashing slightly more amber light on the other side, which yeah, you can just about see that, can't you? So currently at the moment it says we have no internet connection, but we have a connectivity light. So if I unplug, disconnected, and plug back in, same lights, same colours, and it says we now have internet on the screen, which again you probably can't see very well because it's quite small text. So unplugging and replugging the Ethernet seems to make it work. And I would say that the Ethernet LEDs look as normal as they can be. So let me see if I can angle this down so you lot can see. Can you see that reasonably well? Yeah, you can. So let's open up
My
a...
snappy mic. See if it finds a new driver for the Ethernet.
What I think I will try is I will go to the MSI website and I will download the latest driver from them, which I actually think I did already. So MSI drivers, download MSI Global. Yeah, whatever. Accept, find your product. Select product line. It is a motherboard. Yes.
H786.
Actually, what am I doing? This is I can use a touchscreen, can't I?
Hello, Mike. Would you recommend getting a 7800 X3D from AliExpress? It's £250 and has over 5,000 units sold.
Yeah, I think so. I would get it. That's a great price. I'm sure our son just bought one for nearly 400 quid. Like I said, make sure you use your credit card and you should be okay. Right, B650, is this a mag or meg or what? Oh, it's a no.
Has the BIOS been updated?
It has got a new BIOS, but not the newest, I think.
April version. No, that's this month.
MPG. B650. Oh, this is horrible. B650. Right, it's none of those. Right, let's do it the old-fashioned way. B650. Ah, there we go. It started doing it. B650. Yeah. I don't know. It might be this keyboard actually. B650 gaming. Oh, for flip's sake. Thank you, Stuart, for your donation. Much appreciated. Stuart sent £10 via PayPal. Bless you. Gaming Plus. Oh, for God's sake. Right, just notice that. Look, it's doing some weird shit now. And I've noticed the CPU's ramping up as well. Gaming Plus. Wi-Fi. So yeah, there's some bizarre... Did that actually work? No. Right, I'm sure I pressed enter then. I am pressing enter. Is the internet gone again? See, that's the thing you get as well. You get really slow internet.
It's a bit like the council tax. The more we're paying, the worse it's getting.
Yeah. So yeah, it just... I guess any second now it's going to time out. Like I say, you probably can't see what was going on here, but like I've typed that, I pressed enter, or at least I thought I pressed enter. Let's disconnect that again. So interruption, yep. You're not connected, I know this. Plug it back in. And we'll do F5 refresh. There we go. And look, it becomes snappy again.
Not a driver though.
I don't think it's a driver, personally.
Or Ali.
Need to check manual, so if so, it should be one green light and one GPS, but it was yellow at wrong LED. Okay.
And then a bit more is written.
Or at least some level of issue with the hardware and the Ethernet port. Does it say what color it's meant to be for 2.5 gigabit Ethernet? Because that's what it is supposed to be. support. And
Luke says the CPU ramping up. I feel like it's typical Zen behaviour.
yeah, it probably is actually. Right, so for the BIOS update, so there is BIOS version 1A, which came out on the 11th. So we could download that and try that. I will save that to the desktop. Actually, will I save? Where is it? Oh, downloads folder. Okay. So I've got a new BIOS there, and I'm actually going to try the onboard LAN drivers. Has it done it again? No. So AMD Bluetooth drivers, AMD Wi-Fi drivers, and Realtek PCIe Ethernet drivers. Let's download that one. Because it could have just picked up the wrong drivers, you never know. Thank you, Glenn, for the super chat, much appreciated. 420 blazing. To whoever stole my glasses, I have contacts. Toad says reboot your router. Well, if I reboot the router, the stream will go, but all the other PCs that are in this room at the moment are all connected to the same router. So if it's the router problem, all the PCs should have stopped functioning by now. It does seem to be that it is limited to this one and this one only. So I'm going to go over to the drivers a minute, and again, you can't see this, so where are we? Unzip. Extract all. I do wonder if it is the motherboard, in which case what we'll do is we'll take all this stuff off here. I've got another motherboard I can try. I'll just stick it all on there and see what happens. I hope it is the motherboard, although I'm not too sure where I bought it. If I bought it from Amazon, I'm hoping it's the motherboard, because that'd be a nice, easy thing to return.
Tarek.
Tarek, where's Tarek? I can't see Tarek. Oh, Tarek. Hey, so it's fine to take this from Ali. Yeah, I'll just use the use some sense and precaution. Make sure you use a credit card or PayPal. PayPal ideally. But yeah, if they've sold loads of CPUs, they've got loads of history. Just check, make sure that they've done it.
That wasn't the question.
Oh,
but
go on.
it was that one or another. Or
Oh, I didn't see what the other CPU was.
this
Sorry.
CPU or 7800 3XD.
I didn't see the original question. It depends what you want to do. I personally probably wouldn't go with 7800X3D for myself, because I don't know, actually, maybe I would. I think I'd be tempted more to go for something with more cores, because I do video editing. It'd be more useful for that. And I don't game as much as I would like to, but if you're gaming, the 7800X3D all the way.
Is the cable damaged? Does it work on other stuff?
Yes, the cable, as far as I know, is fine, because earlier on today, in fact, I was using this cable to connect it to a router and my laptop, so I'm pretty sure it's fine. But I will say, I don't know 100%, so I might make up a new cable. So I'm going to install the latest driver. Where is the driver? Oh, there's a README. That's interesting. Windows 11 README. Let's see what's going on. I don't want it in Spanish. I have a hard enough job with English. English. Dear Lord. Right, there's nothing of much use there. Ramping up again. Where's Setup EXE? There's Setup. That's the one we want. Setup. Sorry, you guys can't see this, can you? My apologies again. So this is installing the new Ethernet driver. It's like this. It shouldn't be stalling here. It should just be getting on with it, because I've already clicked yes. And it's like, why is it stalled? There's no obvious reason why this should stall at this particular point.
Are both sides ports of the cable capable of 2.5?
Yes. Yes, 100%. 2.5 capable all the way through. So this almost looks like it's locked up. Now, to be fair, I am using the onboard graphics, which aren't great, so there isn't going to be that much acceleration. But it seems like I can't Alt and Tab or do anything. The mouse is still moving. It's like stuck on user account control. So let's say no, and it just goes straight back there.
Maybe try the PBO trick.
I might try that. Let's try that again.
The ordinary dude says if the Windows install was pre-existing on the drive, then it could be the issue. I would do a fresh install of Windows.
Right, let's try now. I'm going to do a repair. Okay, let's do a repair. I'll let it do this, and then I'll just try and do another Windows install and see what happens.
Mega Goat says these MSI boards have a lot of issues.
It does seem this one does. I did say, I think, in the video, in the review, when I went through looking at all the ports and the board itself in general, I'm pretty sure I said this is the spiritual successor to the B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi. I think.
If you didn't say it, you probably thought it.
If I didn't, I was thinking it.
So you should
And that had
say
loads of
that.
problems as well.
What thinking?
Ugly Bob sent in a super chat there, so says, a bit of advice, never read a pop-up book about giraffes. Boing. Nick Barnes says, would Task Manager confirm internet flow?
It's a bit quick.
It might do. I think it might do. Right, maintenance is complete. It says we're not connected again now. But then we have just done an Ethernet install, so that isn't entirely out of the question. And it appears, let's go to booking.com because I've never been there, so I know that isn't cached.
Nick Barnes says, would the Task Manager confirm internet flow?
I've just said that and read it out.
Sorry.
No worries.
It's because I was holding it in my head for so long.
Right. Internet is not working again. But it says we've got a Windows update. So at this point, do I do the BIOS update? Or do we... Actually, if I do the BIOS update, we'll then reboot. Oh, yeah, internet's gone. We have nothing. No.
And Yogi Boy, I had to do PBO trick on my tough B650.
Okay. So I was just reading another comment there. Right, I need a USB drive. Because I'm going to extract that file. We'll do a BIOS update to the latest one. It might have been that I did a BIOS update and it just didn't like it. That is very potentially likely. USB drive, choose what happens. Well, we'd normally want to open folders. And there's a BIOS on there, cat file, so let's delete that.
Welly Bob says change that motherboard.
Change that motherboard. That might be the answer, to be fair. Right, downloads.
BIOS update first, J Rich, J Gordon, diagnose Ethernet.
There is something a bit sketchy about this board, I feel, personally. I don't want to believe it's the processor, but then I don't really want to believe it's the motherboard because I do actually quite like this board, which is one of the reasons why I actually bought it. So we'll copy that.
R. Wolfman, according to Intel, the majority of issues is a faulty cable when it comes to Cat 6. It's very sensitive.
Yeah.
We got 6 cats.
We got 6 cats. Control V.
Hey, Pops.
Oh, come on, you bastard. Oh, this is hideous.
Do you want to go out? Whoa. Let me get off my chair.
Right, Let's drag that over to the USB drive. Yeah, this just doesn't feel as snappy as it should do. So I'm going to do a reboot. At least I would love to, because it wants to do an update.
Right.
Update and restart then. So I'm going to let it do the reboot, and then when it's doing this, we'll go into the BIOS and we'll try and flash a new BIOS onto it, and see if that makes any difference. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it is. I think it's definitely. I'm not going to say definitely. I'm edging towards it being a motherboard fault. But we'll try the BIOS flash, see what happens. If it doesn't like it, we'll try the other motherboard and see if it starts doing weird stuff. If it starts doing weird stuff on the other motherboard as well, then we know it's where the processor is kind of communicating on the PCI Express lanes, etc.
Did you say you had another CPU to try in this motherboard?
I do have another CPU. I've got the 7700X I could put in.
Welly Bob would much
It's not
rather
my
be fussing over Davy the cat than that motherboard.
Right, we're going to go into M-Flash.
Me too, Welly Bob.
Hopefully you can see this roughly. Yes, you can. So it's turned off. This is now rebooting into M-Flash. At which point I'm going to grab my cup of tea, which is
Jan says use a PCIe
hiding.
network card.
Well, the Wi-Fi, the onboard Wi-Fi works flawlessly. But I have got a, I've got another Ethernet card I can plug in.
David Underhill can't do much at the moment. His internet's down, so he's using phone tethering.
No worries. Thanks for making the effort. Right, so this is the M-Flash system, so we can go in and choose our BIOS.
IO shield on the motherboard isn't interfering with the port.
We haven't actually got the IO shield attached at the moment. If you look down there, you can see there's not an IO shield actually on this board. It doesn't have one. But good shout, that does happen frequently. That BIOS is updating much quicker than I thought it was going to. So we're going from version 1.90 to V1AO.
Capono loves the way you say router.
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 Router. No, a router is what you chase bits of wood out with. Just reading your chat there.
Took one out. The IO shield's inbuilt, I think, and then took it out because it isn't. And it's MSI jumping out again.
O'Reilly says, I'm tending to concur with Mike. I still have got no idea, to be honest. It is quite confusing. The CPU's running a bit toasty, 54 degrees C. I know it is a crap cooler, but it's a bit much for a 65 watt part. Marion C says the motherboard or motherboard pins not making contact properly. That is a potential as well. I have mounted the CPU a couple of times now. So that is, I've tried to mitigate that as much as I can. Kelly says, I'm sorry, but did he try an Ethernet, a different Ethernet cable? I haven't, but that one has been known to be working. I've actually been using it today. So I don't think there's a problem with the cable itself. But potentially I can make a cable up to confirm that. Right, so we're on the latest BIOS. Let's do... let's go to advanced settings and we'll go to OC settings. Well, I don't really want to change this just in case. But I do want to turn on Expo, Profile 1. And I don't think there's any other settings in here which I've changed, which would have remained. There we go, look. it thinks it's downward scrolling. Can you see that?
Move your hands up a bit. You might be pushing it.
There's my hands.
They've gone again now.
So for some reason the USB thinks that the keyboard is in the down position, which,
Can you stop it?
yeah. Look, I pressed up and it's just repeatedly sending the same data.
But is it like one of those slow things where it just holds it in its memory till it catches up?
That might, no, I don't think so.
Do you know what I mean?
So now this has happened with 2 different keyboards.
Kevin thinks you need a priest.
It is, Capon says it's definitely the keyboard. Well, it's happened with 2 different keyboards now. So I'm glad this is actually on camera. Click and hold option. I don't think there is a clean... Right, change the keyboard, use a wired one. Let's do that. And see if we can replicate this, because that would be a very interesting thing. And fortunately, here's one I prepared slightly earlier.
Crap CPU, chuck it away and get a new one. David Underhill.
Cheers, Dave. Right, so let's unplug the Wi-Fi adapter. And let's plug in, I'll plug into the same port.
Glenn asks, is there a lick option under the advanced? Hello.
No, there isn't. I think I'll start doing it then. Yeah, because sometimes it, there we go. So we've got a different keyboard plugged in now, as you can obviously tell, because this is a illuminated keyboard. And yeah, there's a ghost in it. And look, I'm not pissing around. The other keyboards are there. The other keyboard, well, you can see I've disconnected the USB dongle. That is here. So there's no way that I could be doing this just to try and get internet clicks. Yeah. So that is a wired keyboard. The dongle's not plugged in. The dongle is here in my hand. The only other USB thing plugged in is the USB BIOS flash drive. But this is the sort of weird stuff that I was experiencing before.
Press up arrow.
Press up arrow, it stops doing it. If I press and hold, I wonder if it'll start doing it.
The only way to prove it's motherboard is to try your other CPU.
Yep, I agree. So it doesn't seem to want to do it with the up. No, that didn't work then. Or then. And then.
Thanks for showing this. I'll never buy MSI.
So weirdly,
Rick says the stream would be boring if Mike used Intel because it just works.
Ah, there we go. It's done it on the up as well. I didn't know if it did. Thanks for that. Intel just works. MSI AM5 bad. It's yeah. It's definitely got something weird going on, hasn't it? I think we can all agree that there is something very, very bizarre going on with this. So I think what I should do now is take the processor off and we'll stick in the 7700X and see what we get. If we get the same results, hopefully we do. And that way it means, yes, the motherboard needs a priest. And let's just turn that off because it's, yeah, whatever. So we've done a BIOS update on it. We've actually done 2 BIOS updates on it now. And I'm just going to disconnect everything. And we'll move the screens and stuff out of the way so I can get to work. And
David Underhill says not MSI, CPU is wrong.
well, I hope it isn't the CPU because that is going to be a much harder one to. Although saying that, the CPU bizarrely is roughly the same price as the motherboard. I think actually the motherboard might even be slightly more expensive. Hey ho. And before anyone says anything, no, it probably isn't the power supply.
Is
It could be the RAM. It could be the RAM. I haven't got another set of RAM here on hand to test it with. Although, again, I'm not too sure because it was a couple of weeks back, but I'm pretty sure at the time I actually swapped out the RAM from the system behind me just to validate it. That's going to go up my nose. So we'll do this. So what's the bets then, everybody? Is it going to be... I need to stab the screwdriver through the motherboard. Is it going to be... Is it going to be the processor? There's a cat out there.
There's 3 here as well. Come on, Boxy.
So Riley says it's the board. Toad says it's the board. Jake Gordon says it's the CPU. Zero Defect says it's the motherboard. Mobo says Roderick. Rick says yes on both. Mega Goat says the board. Reinstall Nick. It's me, yeah. I've jinxed the whole thing. And actually, that was a very good CPU thermal paste coverage there. Didn't get any over the outsides of that, so that's bloody good. Ugly Bob says it's your big fingers. Thanks, Bob. I'm going to go off camera and cry to myself a minute, all right? Now I'm going to come back on camera and I'm going to cry again. Big.
Oh, Poppy looks worried.
Why is Poppy worried?
Because she's sitting on my keyboard, I think.
Right, so let's get the other Mobo and CPU. This feels very, very familiar. I feel like I've done this. I'm pretty sure I have. If there was a CPU, if it was CPU, there would be shutdowns. I don't know if there would be shutdowns. There might be blue screens because of it not executing code properly. Shutdowns, I don't know. Maybe. Anything's possible. I hate touching motherboards, especially when they've got pins.
They don't like you doing it either.
Which way does that go? Up that way. Cover firmly in place. I wonder if we'll be needing to see this motherboard again later on. I certainly hope not. Although this board is supposed to be going back into that PC behind me. No doubt it will at some point. But it's actually going to be an interesting thing to see if the motherboard is still haunted. But I'm glad I'm doing this, and I'm glad we're capturing it all live as well, so it's unedited, not messed around with anything as such. I haven't photoshopped my fingers into anything. Where is my spray alcohol? Oh, come on. There'll be all sorts of things I find in here. Oh, there we are. Oh God, I'm too old. I am actually too old. Getting older by the day. So I'm going to clean off some of the thermal pasta. I'm trying to remember which brand it was used to call it that. They used to sell it as thermal pasta. Must have been a German company, I guess. Because pasta, Zahnpasta, is toothpaste in German. Learned a thing there, ladies and gents.
Right,
Bit of paste in there. When you're taking your CPU out, it's always a good idea, if you can, if there is any excess, try and remove it so it doesn't fall into the board or onto the pins or anything or get transferred. Because most thermal paste these days is non-conductive. So if you actually manage to get the thermal paste onto the pins, you're going to have to be very, very, very careful indeed on how you attempt to clean it all up.
Nothing says AMD builds seem more finicky than Intel, at least from my limited experience.
Oh yeah, AMD builds are insanely finicky at the moment. Like, there's not even close. But unfortunately, that is the nature of the beast.
Beast is in.
Oh, and the beast is in the chat. Pasta. Right, so we've got a new CPU on here, so let's grab another little bit of thermal poop.
There you go. Thermal paste is, in German, William Bodie said. You can call it that from now on.
Thermal paste is Varmalite paste.
There you go. You can add that in every video from now on. Like you'd remember.
Oh, I would never remember that. The beast is in the chat. Right, let's get rid of some of this excess paste. I suppose really I should just use one of those thermal pads. The those ones you can keep on redoing. Right, let's get this back on.
Oh, Poppy. Do you not go out again?
Yeah, so going back to the Fallout new TV series. Have you watched it? What did you think of it? Try not to put any spoilers in the chat if you can possibly help it, because there's bound to be people that haven't watched it all yet. So just your thoughts and opinions. Please, please, no spoilers. And if you're worried you may see spoilers, I would suggest possibly turning off now, or at least muting it for the foreseeable, until you see something on the screen which looks like a BIOS or something.
But if it's in the chat.
Charles says, I'm loving it. Big Fallout fan here. Good stuff. Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I found it a little bit slow going. But I would say, having watched it all, I would say the payoff is pretty much worth staying with. If you're a fan of the game and the series in general, then, like, come on, realistically, you're going to watch it, aren't you? Even if it was crap, you'd watch it anyway, just so you could see Pit Boys. That's just a thing. But yeah, I think the art directors have done a really good job. The producers, directors, etc. It works quite well, I think. There's a lot of kind of... what's the word? What's the thing they do to tell you how to do... Predictive programming and kind of... what's the other one? Propaganda. It's quite propagandized if you can relate it to the world, but for a lot of people that's just going to be... David Thompson says it looked great. It did look great. It really did. Thank you very much to Dom, who's gifted 5 Mics and Boxing memberships. Sorry. To Shags the Hobo, the Big Marvelinsky. David Underhill said he never watched. Alpha Indigo, the Wibble, and Greg Dodd all have been gifted memberships by Dom M. What a lovely, lovely, sweet, special man. The reason why I said that, lovely, lovely, sweet, special man, there was a gentleman who I worked with at the BBC. Kath didn't, because he left before Kath started there. But there was a prop master, and proper old school, and yeah, little moustache and all that, smartly dressed, very, very old school, been in the business for a long, long time. And he was just such a character, and he used to come out with these things. and he would say there was someone who come in, oh yeah, he's a lovely, 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 sweet, special man. And then in the next breath, he'd be slagging him off. It was absolutely hilarious. And some of his phrases are just, yeah, they just stuck around.
Fallout, is that for heavy laden women in small bras?
Fallout, yeah.
Nick Barnes.
That's Nick Barnes, that is exactly what happens, yeah. Fallout is more like, you know, when you see those girls and they're wearing those really tight jeans and they've got the muffin tops coming out. That's Fallout when it rolls over the side. Obviously, that isn't just a female thing, it is a male thing also.
Flanks, we call it.
Flanks, yes.
Look at your flanks, mate.
Look at your flanks, mate. Oh my god. You are obese.
Don't have to be obese.
Thing is,
to have them.
everything's so damn tasty these days, it's hard not to enjoy food. Right then. So, before I get myself into more trouble, let's turn on the power. Wait for the screen to turn itself off. No, it didn't. Good, good, good. And we'll wait for the bang. No bang.
Why BIOS CPU 3.8?
I was very pleased to say with Fallout the musical score is excellent, as it was in the game, obviously. Now we should get errors and stuff on the screen now. Now this should stay on the screen, but that's as if like someone's pressed a keystroke to bypass it, which I don't recall doing. So let's go back into the BIOS. And I suppose a really quick and simple test of this is if we just do the up and down. If it does the same thing in the BIOS again, I would argue it's toast.
Mark Berry asked, anyone have a winner on the Grand National today?
I didn't even know it was the Grand
Somebody
National.
in our Discord said they won, didn't they?
Oh.
I'm sure I read it.
Right. So delete isn't working anymore apparently. They've. Oh, tell you what. I'm actually on the wrong keyboard. Ignore me. Right. I'll tell you what, I should plug in the Ethernet now. It's been a long day. I've been recording videos today. We don't have a day off. Kath and myself. We just work. It's
You
like,
have a day off when you go to work.
yeah, I have a day off tomorrow when I go to work in the shop. I don't. Okay. Yeah. What do I want to do in here? Oh, I know. So I have the Ethernet icon. Open. No, I don't want volume controls, do I? My fingers are too fat to do this.
Quick, Photoshop them.
Oh, for God's sakes. Why did it do that? Restart required. Your PC needs to... whatever. Okay.
Ah,
So, Ethernet is connected currently.
I saved you. You was falling off, weren't you, mate?
I do like a touchscreen. Windows does a really good job of touchscreens, to be fair. Ah, remember earlier on I pressed on booking.com and it never actually came up? Well, it did then. So, yeah, it's... we still have our internet connection, so... I'm not too sure what I can try now. Let's try typing in here, so... MSI... B650... Gaming... Wi-Fi. Now, if all of that has come out, that's a good... Oh, hang on. Yes, all the words come out in the right order.
A couple of people said that's a nice monitor.
Yeah, this was a gift from Ugly Bob. I think this actually came from AliExpress as well. This is the Hug for Tea.
The what?
Ow, fuck, cramp. Ah! Oh, that hurts. I got cramp.
What, from saying the name of that monitor?
No, I tried to put my leg behind the chair and it stretched it too far and I got a cramp now. Ow! I got to stand up. Ow! Oh, I hope this is worth it, you lot. It ain't for me.
What was the monitor called?
Hug for Tea. So HGFRTEE. Hee hee. Something like that.
Summer.
Ow! I actually pulled a muscle then. I don't think there's one there left to pull. Ow! That really hurt.
Pull my leg.
Jeepers. Right. So internet is still connected, which is a little bit.
David Underhill's off.
Thank you, David Underhill, for joining us.
He's not. He is going, but only because he has got no internet.
Oh yeah. Oh look. Best value B650. It ain't gonna be this one. MSI.
Stop playing with that.
Ask Copilot. No, I refuse on the grounds of, well, just no. Well, this appears to be working and the internet is staying connected. And it seems to have been a bit longer than it did previously. So I'm going to run Cinebench a moment. Cine. I don't think all the drivers are necessarily installed at the moment, but if anything, this is going to stress the CPU and possibly could force it to disconnect. Maybe. See what happens. Oh, God, my leg.
Push against the wall, Mike. Mark Berry says.
Push my leg against the wall. I'd be lucky if I could reach a wall from here. It'd be
There are
alright.
very few walls that you can actually
There's
get near.
not much space on anything. There's like stuff on the walls everywhere.
And even in the hallway, it's too narrow.
Right, that seems to be running. We've still got Ethernet. So I suppose the next thing to do would be, after we've done this, if we don't lose the Ethernet, will be to go into the BIOS and just start scrolling around and see if it does the weird uppy downy scrolly thing. It'd be quite funny actually, because when they say, can you show or take a picture or video of the problem, we're like, there's a live stream, a whole live stream. You can watch it.
It looks like it's the CPU issue.
It does appear to be. So it's done that, and we've scored about 19,000 points, which I think is about, yeah, 19,000 points with a stock cooler with a 7700X. I think is about right. Normally about 20,000, but that seems to be working, and it seems actually more responsive as well. There doesn't seem to be any of that lag or judder or any stuff like that going on. Yes, Kath.
IFC says.
IFC.
Yeah.
IFC always. How do you BIOS flash a A520M DS3H version as you did for the motherboard without the... Well, it's the same principle. You just get a different BIOS file, and it should still have the BIOS flashback button. So, yeah, if for any of the videos that we do, especially on BIOS flashback, the principles are always the same. The only thing different is you go to the motherboard website for the version that you actually have, and just get the right file. The rest of it is all going to be basically identical. Capon 5150 says, I just don't have these problems he's having on AM5. Yeah, I've been very very unlucky with AM5 stuff.
Go up one, the beast.
The Beast. Okay, so I have a Ryzen 9 3900X. I got one of them. RTX 2060 Ti, 32 GB RAM, APC. I only play strategy games like Total War games. Should I finally upgrade to M5 or wait to see what happens? I would, if you're thinking of upgrading, don't do it yet. The 9000 series will be out later this year. If you're going to go for it and you've managed to stick on that for as long as you have, I would wait, personally. It's still a very powerful system. 3900X is still a great CPU. And if you're just playing games like Total War and stuff at 1440p, you're absolutely fine. There's no need for you to do it. Yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Viali says 21614 in Cinebench 23 with 5900X. So that's not a bad score. And are we still connected to the internet? We are still connected to the internet. Wow. And have I disabled the Wi-Fi? I should check that actually. Yep, Wi-Fi is still disabled. So yeah, I think it looks like it is the processor. Now, I think someone said about try the faulty CPU on the ASRock board. I don't have any ASRock boards, unfortunately. The only other board I've got here is the, or that one there, the B650 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. So we could try that, see if we can replicate the problem. I might stay on here just a little longer just to see if we do get an Ethernet issue. Not that I don't think we really will do. Still a little bit concerning that the FTPM thing at the very beginning, it just kind of breezed on through and didn't bother asking if I wanted to reset it or not. I just did it regardless. Don't have any issues in Device Manager, so that is good. And everything seems to be working here. No problems there. Internet seems to be working. Yep. We're not losing connectivity, so I don't know. Nothing says I never knew a CPU could create Ethernet issues. Well, the thing is, if the CPU, my theory, or kind of, I'm just bouncing things off the wall here, I don't know for sure. Because it was sometimes a little bit laggy, and also the USB thing with the keyboard, that generally is, I'm pretty sure it's on an interrupt level. So my guess would be that, because I could run stress tests on it and they would generally run pretty much within spec, but a stress test itself doesn't rely very heavily on interrupts, because you just press a button and it does its own thing and you let it do its test. Whereas when you're actually using a PC and scrolling, navigating, doing different things, you're doing a lot more interrupts because you are interacting, or at least on a very rudimentary basic level. That is my theory on it. Now obviously a processor is doing hundreds of billions of things every second or every millisecond, so that isn't necessarily exactly right, but I can't believe that I said just now about baked beans and they've literally come up on here. How does that even... Oh god, didn't want to do that. There we are. Are baked beans healthy? It's like, really? Like, there's not even a microphone attached anywhere. I know there's a chance that that would come up, but really? Right, so we've still got Ethernet connectivity. So if we put the other CPU now into the other motherboard and that starts having internet connection issues, then I think that pretty much says the CPU is toast. Thank you very much. Toast and beans.
Now you're going to get toast coming up.
Oh god, yeah.
Do you want to go up?
Right, so we still have internet connection. I still don't understand how that is possibly a thing, because
Do you want food, mate?
unless the I'm not too sure about the Realtek RTL 8125 chipset, whether it's USB based or whether it's PCI Express based. That is, yeah, it's blown my mind a little bit, to be honest. Very strange indeed. So shut down. So now we'll try the other platform and see what happens. But, oh, actually, I am going to fire it back up. I want to see if pressing delete allows me to go into the BIOS, which it didn't just now. But that might have been just because I was using the wrong keyboard. That is possible.
What about putting the old chip back in and try the PBO trick thing? I don't know if you've done any of that.
The thing is, I could do the PBO thing, but then that's not going to prove that the CPU then is faulty, because if it needs more juice than is available from default settings, it's faulty as far as I'm concerned. And whether or not I'm going to use it or whether I'm going to sell it to someone else or whatever. DDR speed still at 5200, so maybe should we turn on XMP? We'll turn on Expo level 1, and at least it's let us into the BIOS anyway. So let's see what happens now.
Which MSI motherboard?
And if we get weird stuff. Sorry, what's that?
Which MSI motherboard is this one?
This one is the Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. So we'll try the RAM next. If this isn't the problem, I'm a bit screwed because I don't have any other DDR5 here at the moment, other than what is in there. And I'll struggle to take out what is wrong. Well, it's running and on, I was going to say. But I said both together. I've become Peter Andre. I'm putting words together. William Bodie says, Mike, dress up as a Chinaman and sell to Blaine Dave. That's a good idea. That might work.
Is there a BIOS setting for LAN setting?
Thanks, George. Is there what? Sorry, a
BIOS setting for LAN setting.
there's a BIOS to enable it or disable it, and that is about it, really.
George coming down because you said that.
Yeah. Miriam says test it with OC RAM. Yep, that is what we're done now. So we still have our Ethernet connected, so let's drag that over to the side so we can keep an eye on it.
You okay, George?
I think that's an affirmative.
You okay?
Yes, I am. Otis looks a bit scared now.
He is.
Ugly Bob says hi, George.
George says hello.
Mm-hmm.
Move to Germany if you can't buy a house, says Kevin McLeod. Nice one, Kevin. Yogi Boy 78 says, that's my motherboard. I got it for 125 quid brand new. You did well there. I think I paid 130, 135 maybe. Maybe even more. Probably need to look it up actually.
While Bill's in.
Well, Bill! Nice one, Wild Bill.
That's Maisie food.
Otis. Right, we're still connected. What else can we do?
Come say hi.
Have we got MSI sensor on there? That was Otis. Doing a quick flyby in the low ride.
You're not going to help?
No, we have got MSI sensor on here.
Go on, Mapes.
Hardware monitoring. Oh, please don't be the processor. That's upsetting. Oh. Don't let it be that. User scenario. Normally by the time we've gone in here and done a few bits and pieces, it would have disconnected the Ethernet. but it seems like it's okay at the moment. CPU fan. Looks like this has saved my settings from previously, actually. I suppose it would do, because it's MSI Center. We appear to still have internet. And it does seem, actually, it feels snappier. I know it's a really hard thing to translate to you lot, but it does actually feel like I'm pressing stuff and the keyboard seems to be responsive. And when I click on something, it appears to be doing what it's meant to do. Support.
Does Event Viewer show any errors?
That's a good question. It probably will, because Windows shows errors just because it's Windows. I will have a look. I want that window there. I want that to stay there because I need to keep an eye on that. So Windows logs, application, so security SPP, so licensing activation, SLUI exe failed. That makes sense because this isn't a registered copy of Windows. License activation failed, blah blah blah. So that's the only real errors there at the moment. That's another SLUI, I think.
UTP seems to be the issue. Can you disable it?
What's that? UTP?
Yeah. Well, it's a funny little U, so I don't know.
UTP? What's UTP? I'm not too sure what that is. I don't know.
You finished, mate?
Dutch Jan says, I've never seen so many Germans since I moved to Germany. Hi, Kenny D. Capon5150 says, everyone wants a snappy PC. Definitely. Irie Wolfman says, micro transport protocol. I don't even know what that is.
Babe.
Hello. Who's that?
Candy.
Candy. Hey, Candy. Micro transport protocol. I have no idea what that is at all, so I have to look it up. And luckily, we're still connected to the internet, which it does seem like it's staying connected to the internet. Micro transport. Micro transport protocol. Yeah. I've never heard of that before, so I've no idea what it is. UTP is an open user.
What's wrong, Candy?
Oh, UTP. I don't think that was the issue.
I'm going to sit there now.
As far as I could tell.
You had enough of that?
But I honestly, I don't know enough about that sort of error to say whether it would be or not.
Can't go right now,
So yeah, this seems to be remaining connected. And it benchmarks okay, so
You can't go out.
it's remaining connected, and it seems okay. It seems pretty snappy. All the drivers appear to be installed, and it's not doing any weird stuff. Yep, it's remained connected and hasn't had a problem. So it would appear, at first glance, that the motherboard is okay. So we'll put the processor on the other board and see if that starts. Oh, that's what I want to do. Oh no! I wanted to see if the we could get it to do the weird scrolling thing in the BIOS. Because if it does the weird scrolling thing in the BIOS, then we're not entirely out of the woods.
Oh no.
Hmm.
Had a spelling mistake, but it sounds very Bristolian.
Oh, right.
Read it.
Capono, are you, do he like doing diagnoses?
That's very Bristolian.
That is very Bristolian.
Do he?
Yar. Hello, McFly. Oh, of course, I haven't done the context restore or anything, have I yet? Right, we're in the BIOS. So, where were we before? We're in advanced BIOS settings, weren't we? So, let's see if we can make it do weird things. What's the best that it doesn't do weird things? Capono says, I swear AM5 isn't this bad. Well, I think if you have enough motherboards and enough processors, you're going to find problems. We're quite lucky because in the UK, we've got a relatively clean power supply. So we don't really get problems with that sort of stuff. But this seems like I'm pressing the buttons and it's actually doing what it's meant to. We're not getting that weird scrolling. As much as I really, 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 really want it to be the motherboard, I don't think it is. And I don't think it's the RAM either.
You can eat that now. Where does Maisie go? Behind there?
I can't believe the V-core voltage is at 1.42 in the BIOS.
Oh, Davey.
That's a little on the extreme side, to say the least.
And here's Davey. His fur.
There's Davey. Hey, Dave. What's up? You okay? You want to go out?
Come and tell it now. This is Candy crying. Oh, she gave Dave a massage the other day. It's not plugged in, is it?
Yeah. It's probably a good idea not to be around the computer. There you go. Go and sit on my chair. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there, Dave.
No, I don't want to turn on claret browsing.
Look, you've got your own keyboard on this chair.
I'm getting confused now. Cancel. So where we go? What use? Right. So I think we've established that this is fine. So we'll put the that CPU onto another motherboard, and I would assume, rightly or wrongly, that we are going to get a problem when we swap this over. I would sort of hope so. Well, I don't hope so, because it's actually possibly a terrible thing. And I don't really want to have to send my processor back to get another replacement. But I will be happy, because it's obviously half the price of what I've got. But it does mean that I'm actually down a processor for testing purposes, which is not great. So let's get this out of the way. Cheerio, monitor, don't need you for a little bit. Might as well put that in already. I do like this motherboard, actually. I've forgotten how much I like this motherboard. Right, processor. There's a lot of gunk on the side.
Voltage just a wee bit.
No, I am not changing the voltages.
Hassle of sending it back.
No,
Did you
not going to
have
happen.
send something back the other- Is that what you've applied to send back?
Yeah.
You said how?
Huh?
It's going somewhere in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I said that at the beginning. Yeah, it's only going back to somewhere local in the UK anyway. I think it's Coventry or Bolton or I don't know. something. But hopefully this should answer the question pretty conclusively. If the problem follows the processor, then it's the processor.
John Novak is hooked on watching this. And Last Man Standing said I could watch Mike Butter Toast, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind watching you do some of that with a bit of Marmite.
Right, can we stop talking about food again, please? You've been warned.
Although you quite could have put in potato and crackers as well.
I might as well use that cooler again, don't I? This AMD cooler is getting a little bit of airtime tonight.
Is the CPU clean underneath?
Yes, I did clean it before we started. I used some isopropyl alcohol on a wipe, and then when it hazed off after, I gave it another wipe over as well, just to be on the safe side. I'll just put a link for those of you that are new here for premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing, where you can get yourself a fantastic deal on a Windows 10 or Windows 11 license key. Should be less than £5 or €5, or I think it's like £3 or something stupid at the moment.
£3.89 I think was the last one, or £2.81 wasn't it?
Get them while you still can. Okie dokie. Right, I might... Can I get away with reusing that paste? No, probably not. Premium CD keys is awesome. I have... Actually, I wonder...
This is different, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. There's lots of CD key sites, but I don't think any of them are as cheap and potentially as reliable as Premium CD keys. We've been working with them. We're not sponsored, by the way. This is purely like we gain. I think it's 5% commission for every sale,
And they're like £2.
but they're £2 or £3 a key. So, like, we're not going to be leaving the country or emigrating anytime soon on that sort of commission. And to be honest with you, I'd probably just recommend them anyway without the commission, because it's a pretty good deal. Come on, I just want some...
Getting cold.
I always drink cold tea. It is a occupational hazard of
Father.
internet life and being a father, yeah, or just someone who works for a living. I think I've always drank cold tea pretty much all of my working life. I think it's because I started out when I first started work. They would be like, "Oh, do you want a cup of tea?" It's like, "Well, no, of course I don't," because being a young kid, all you want is like Coca-Cola or something. But yeah, I didn't really like hot drinks at all. And I think I used to drink tea cooler because I didn't like hot drinks as such. I still don't really like hot drinks now. Calf drinks a drink straight down, like almost from the kettle. I can't do it. It just hurts my throat and my mouth. I'm a rather sensitive soul. So yeah, I don't
Drink it cold though.
I don't mind it lukewarm. I don't mind it warm-ish. But nobody got time for a burnt mouth.
Beanies is the first thing I want when I wake up.
What do you have to drink first?
In the morning when I wake up, first thing I have to drink is a cup of hot lemon water. Calf gets lemons, slices them and freezes them, puts them in the freezer. Then in the morning, get down and have a cup of hot water from the kettle, and then chuck a couple of slices of lemon in there. Nice way to start the day. And then I have bicarbonate of soda with vitamin C. And then after that, if I've been good, I can have a cup of tea.
Last Man Standing has a pint of Tennant's.
Pint of Tennant's. That's why he's the last man standing.
Milk, full fat, always full fat.
Yeah, full fat milk is the way to go. Right,
I'd
so
rather go without milk than have not full fat.
I'll put that working motherboard over there. I suppose I could have taken the box with it. So let's power this thing up again.
Add a banana for the cramps.
Yes, that is a good idea. I've been fancying a banana for the last couple of days actually. I was watching something, I was like, oh yeah, I fancy a banana. Not sure what I was watching. Don't think it was Fallout.
Do put salt in the water, so you do get quite a bit of potassium from that.
Oh, USB, I put it in already.
Why Ali says gold top is better. Mike doesn't like the cream.
I'm not a big fan of gold top, yeah.
I want to try raw milk, but it's either really expensive or non-local.
Right, I think we are ready. Power. We have power. We have liftoff. I am not sure what is actually on this drive, to be fair. Or whether or not it's even going to get into the BIOS. It probably will be upset. But we'll see.
Right keyboard.
This is the right keyboard, yeah.
Oh, look at your sweet little face.
Right. So at this point now, yeah, that's where you normally press yes or no to reset your FTPM. That is a scary thing in itself, because if I had BitLocker installed on the drive which is in there, that has basically just wiped my data. And now, again, I should have to press F1 or something here. And nope, it's just carried on. With a mind of its own. So, it looks like the problematic experience is following. Let's plug in our Ethernet port. Oh, I've got a green light now on the Ethernet port. That's pretty special.
Chinese military kit.
Yeah, it is.
AliExpress warrior.
Oh, this is a test one. Oh, good. Well, it's working. We have internet connectivity. That's always nice. What's that? MSI sensor engine. Mariam, CPU bad.
No down.
I've got a feeling. I think. CPU bad, AliExpress virus. They can hack BIOS, you know. I know. On AM5, yes. Anything with basically the JPEGs or GIFs that you show. Ira Wolfman says, have you tried the Realtek Ethernet diagnostic problem, ENDIS? No, I haven't.
Corn drive, whatever that is.
Corn drive, what is that?
I'm like Beavis and Butthead.
Right, the mouse has stopped moving. I'm still, and then it's come back to life again. Now this could be picking up drivers or doing stuff in the background, so we'll let it do some Windows updates a minute, let it do its thing. Clearly it's going to be kind of sorting out its drivers in the background. So let it do that. And we'll see if it loses the internet connection whilst it's trying to do some updates. It may do, it may not. It already feels a bit weird. But, again, it could be just down to this being somewhat out of date and needing some updates. And probably drivers as well. But it says we're still connected.
Hey, Flamey.
Oh, That's in the same page now, so I can't see it. Anyway, we're connected. No thanks. So we'll keep on scrolling. Worst places you could ever put your Wi-Fi router at home, it'll slow it down. We're still connected. Seems to be working. See, the Ethernet connection thing isn't the, well, it's one of those associated things, but whether or not it's the, like a key thing, I honestly don't know.
Right, do you play games?
Not a lot. Most of the time when I'm playing games, it's for benchmarking or for footage. But the only time I actually get to play a game is probably on a Sunday, because after I've been working in the shop, I get home and it's like a bit late to start doing a video. So I get all the questions and stuff done, listen to a video, probably fall asleep for a bit. Then when I wake up, I was like, oh, let's play some CSGO. And that is about it.
CPU good?
Don't know. Not sure. My router is on my microwave. Good work.
We got rid of our microwave
You did.
at long last.
Combo issue. We're still installing the Windows update here, cumulative update. We still have internet connectivity.
My Ali just built an X570 build to sell on eBay.
Oh, very good. I don't like combo issues. There is a potential for a combination issue, but it just, yeah, I don't know. There's just something really annoying me about it. Still installing. We get this installed. Wait for the Windows update. Let it restart. Ah, there we go. We've lost internet. Bingo. That is exactly what I wanted to see. It isn't, because that is absolute shit. But, yeah, you are not connected. So we've lost internet connectivity, which is one of the telltale signs that seems to follow this processor. So we've had weird mouse issues on the screen where it stopped moving and carried on. We've had the Ethernet port cut down. So if I disconnect the port now, unplug, and just plug it back in, it must do something. It must reset the stack somehow. And yeah, internet's come back. So like that is a weird problem. Perhaps not that on its own, but that is potentially a weird issue. Now you could say, oh, it's your fault, Mike. The Ethernet cable's not plugged in right. And yeah, I could pretty much go along with that. But we'll see if it disappears again, which it might do. I think it will do. Marion says, nice one, nice one. So AliExpress sent a CPU that doesn't work. Well, it partially works. And to be fair, if you were doing QC testing, you put it into a motherboard, it fires up, you can go into the BIOS. Maybe that's the only testing they actually do on these. I don't know. But if you put it into a machine, it boots up and it works, then yeah. Is it okay on the wireless? It was on the other board, and I'm guessing it would be on here as well. But I don't know 100%. Zero Defect says, try a Wii Overvolt on the PBO for science. Sell it to CEX. No, because that's bad karma. As much as I would love to, and that would be a good way of getting around it. But no, that is bad karma. Someone, although CEX is a massive company and they've got lots of money, screwing over a company when you knowingly know something is a bit dodgy. The thing is as well, it would be a double backfire as well, because potentially, first of all, it's a bad thing and I would feel bad. I'd feel good when the money hit my account, but I'd feel bad after. But the thing is, it's going to be someone like you or like me who's going to be buying this from CX. And then that person's going to be like, they might not be as fortunate, they might not have motherboards and processors that they can swap out to test it. So they might just think it's something they're doing. And to give all that frustration to somebody else, I think it's pretty bad, really. So it's fun to think about it, but I don't think I would do it. We appear to still be connected though, so it's not disconnecting on quite such a regular basis, because it was doing it quite frequently before, if I remember rightly. I want to see it disconnect once more, just to make sure it's not just a fluke.
Okay, mates.
Which it could be. Disconnecting once doesn't mean anything. We're talking about iconic boy bands now. We said NSYNC earlier.
Super noodle hairstyle.
Wow.
That's what Ugly Bob said he put you as.
Super noodle hairstyle? Oh. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Having a hairstyle. It's been a while. So what is this styling hair you're speaking of?
No, it's super noodles.
Right, what did we get last time? 19,000 pretty much. There's still a Windows update going on in the background, I think, as well, so that's probably not going to help things. I want to see that disconnect again. Well, I don't. I'm hoping it's just a one-off, but... Shout out to AM4 users. They still winning. Oh, yes. John Novak says it's a Wi-Fi only version of the CPU. It's not a bad idea. Clean the gold contacts with ISO bottom of CPU. Did that at the very beginning. Yeah. Ira Wolfman says it was a joke. Matthew Day says, so that board works with another CPU not being given 100% attention. Does the problem follow the CPU to another board? Could be borderline contact. Well, it's disconnected once. And Cinebench score, we've got slightly less than we had before, but then there's a Windows update installing in the background, so that is understandable. It's about 500 points down on what it was previously. So it's kind of within spitting distance, and it says it wants a restart now, so let's do a restart and see where we're going. Actually, whilst we're doing the restart rather, I will go into the BIOS and we'll try the up and down keyboard thing, see if we can get it to go nuts. And actually, just to make sure I'm in the right ports, I will plug the keyboard and mouse into a USB 3.2 Gen 1 port.
What Mike isn't telling everyone is he's a millionaire. It's all the money he saves on shampoo. Have you seen George's hair?
Yeah, our son's got more hair than me and Kath put together.
We don't save money on shampoo.
We don't save nothing. Don't save... There's something sticky on the bottom of this cup.
Probably where you've dribbled down it.
Well, I thought that, but it does actually appear to be something sticky. on the floor now. Ah,
You're spilling that everywhere.
nah,
Looks like you're on here.
nah. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. This is still hot. I can barely hold it. It's so hot. Let me in the BIOS. Right, so if we go into the advanced settings, we go into OC. I'm hoping at some point this is going to start scrolling like a madman. If it doesn't, we're in that kind of weird area where it's kind of a borderline thing. But it does seem at the moment to be behaving. Memory context restore, that should be enabled. Actually, I haven't turned on XMP, have I yet? Power down enable. Enabled. And XMP profile number 1. And actually, someone said about PBO, didn't they, earlier? So let's go to Precision Boost Overdrive. Set it to auto. Enabled. That will give it a little bit of extra juice. But this appears, I would say, this is looking okay. But how can a processor not like a motherboard? That doesn't make a heap of sense to me. But it's certainly not doing the weird stuff. Or it's being less weird. So I don't think it's the... Well, I can't imagine it being dirty pins or contacts, because I've done a couple of remounts on different boards, and you'd think that if it was a contact issue, that would have been remedied at least one of the times we remounted. This seems alright. This is making less and less sense. Okay. Let's go back into Windows then and see if we can get the Ethernet to disconnect again. Which then still doesn't prove anything because I need to try another cable. Does it still have the latency? I'm not sure.
Did you do chipset drivers?
Chipset drivers, I would have done at some point. I don't think I've done them on this installation recently because I think this is the... I'm pretty sure this is the platform I used in the Thermaltake CTE... No, the CTE 600. So that's like a couple of months ago now. MSI combo strike. They've gone on strike.
Life in frame, is that to you?
Life in frame. My 7700 and 1600 GPU runs Dragon's Dogma 2 at 60 FPS 4K with no issues. I'd recommend the 7700 to anyone. What motherboard did you get? I got the MSI Mag B650 Tomahawk and it works great. My original B650 Tomahawk wasn't particularly stable. So I sent that back and got the Gaming Edge, which is what we're using at the moment. You did it. You earned another hour towards your stand goal. I didn't stand. I was leaning. Mariam says my 7500F was doing similar things with the Maxon motherboard. Changed the motherboard and now PC is fine. Very nice. Skystalker says, is it possible that it's a lower tier chip being spoofed as an R5 7700? That is possible. I know it's not Easter, but I need a little bit of a sugar kick. There's something about Cadbury's cream eggs.
Did you bite it?
Yeah. I've got to try and talk. I'm moving my mouse expecting it to work on that screen. It's not. O'Reilly says, damn Mike, I am tempted to get an egg.
Get an egg. Come on. All three of
Sky
us.
says, an engineering sample makes sense, actually. I did. There's a picture of the processor in the thumbnail for the video. It's got all the serial numbers on it. So if anybody wants to investigate it, I did look briefly to see if I could find out any information, but there doesn't seem to be that much out there on the internet to say what that chip actually is, other than the name that it was given. So if anybody wants to do that, investigate into it, see if it is an engineering sample or whatever, please do. In fact, I'd be extremely grateful if you did. Your browser has been updated to the newest version. Well, that's just great. See what... Oh.
0 defects.
You get that cream egg deal from Amazon last week, yeah. Yeah, I got 48 of the bloody things. Pretty good though. Ari Wolfman says, try clock tuner for Ryzen. It will say if the CPU is good. Really? Most likely they would have swapped the heat spreader from a new CPU so it looks legit. That is possible. Is it raining?
No, it's just Maisie behind my desk. Hi, Otis.
So CTR. Will that tell me stuff straight away? Actually, that's a good thing because I can try and download something. If it doesn't download, then CTR Ryzen. Clock tuner for Ryzen. Do I need anything else? I've never used this actually.
That's me.
We care about your privacy. Where is the download? I hate sites like this where they've got all kinds of weird download things. There we go. Okay. Thanks for downloading. You're welcome. Could it be a power supply issue with the board not getting proper power to the VRM or something like that? It is possible.
Is that the one you checked earlier?
Miriam C says, doesn't look like you have any latency issues. Doesn't appear to be, no. It does appear to be working like as intended. Which is actually very frustrating.
You want to go out? You can't go out, it's too late.
Because for it to work normally on this board, but not work normally on that one, Still kind of leaves me in the same position that I was in at the beginning of the stream.
Come up for cuddles.
And that seems to take a little bit of a long time to unzip the files. But then saying that, I've never tried to unzip this file before, so I'm not sure how fast it should be. Sometimes unpacking lots of tiny files takes ages, whereas unpacking a large exe or any bigger file generally is quite quick.
Like unpacking.
Right, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to run it. Warning, blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's fine. So, tuner. So, diagnostic, I guess. Tuner. Default. Have I got to choose modes and stuff, or can I just press the button? I don't know what I'm doing.
Cat wants to go out, but she's too little. You're too little to go out this late.
You are.
I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Right, this might take a little bit of... I have no idea what I'm doing. I really don't. Clear config and close. Oh, I didn't want to do that then. Oh, let's just run Prime 95
Nice paintbrush. Yeah.
and see if we can kill it. Okay. Wait for the CPU fan to ramp up to ridiculous levels. We still haven't lost Ethernet either, which is a little bit of a gutter. So if we run hardware monitor as well, just make sure we're not overheating too much. Although it should just throttle if it is. Although opening hardware monitor when you've got CPU stress testing is never a good idea because it'll probably just time out. I don't know. Well, we've gone straight to 95 degrees C. And we are thermally throttling hard down to 90 watts. Oh well, at least you can't damage the processor. Unless you stop the fan. We're good. That throttled down pretty hard then. Right, maybe I should stop that. I just thought actually the power supply. That is working. Wasn't too sure if the power supply fan was going to kick in, but it is. Oh well. That's working. We're stressed out. It's not crashed. We've still got internet connectivity. So I'm completely flummoxed. What is going on here?
What a kerfuffle.
It is a kerfuffle. I'm still literally no further forward than I was this morning. The only other thing I can do is if I take that processor out of there now and put it into the streaming PC and try running it for a week and seeing what happens. But I don't know. Very strange things. Well, it's still running. We've not lost connectivity at all. So yeah, I'm still not 100%. It's not the motherboard.
Motherboards.
Capono 5150 says I have anxiety now. Wi-Fi is currently off. Yeah, because I want to see if the internet's going to drop out. Charles Ballard says flummoxed, kerfuffle, bulbous, bouffant, macadamia, gazebo. I couldn't have put it better. yeah. It's odd that a processor seems to be working fine now. Or at least, yeah, it gives that impression. And I'm almost 100% sure that I tried 2 Windows installs on that other setup. So maybe I could try doing another install with another drive, just to rule out the M.2 drive, which I don't think it is going to be that, but you never know. John says, maybe update the drivers, maybe that'll fix it, or not fix it. It seems to be like it's hardware, because it was doing it in the BIOS on the motherboard with that weird USB interrupt thing. So, yeah. The mental gymnastics here is crazy. Yeah. That's what it does when it doesn't work properly. Oh, yeah. Riley says, the main product number on the thumbnail does match what it should be for Ryzen 5 7700, and it confirms it is an OEM CPU range. But I cannot get any further with the numbers on the CPU from the thumbnail. Okay, well thank you for trying that anyway. I don't think with the serial number you can track it on AMD's site. You may be able to, I don't think you can because it's an OEM. But yeah, I'm still screwed. Basically, I'm sorry that I've had to take you guys and girls along for the ride, but I don't think that there's really anything else that I can really try. I can scan for a virus. You never know; it might be a virus. But yeah, it's weird how it's not disconnecting from the internet. It seems snappy, doesn't have any latency issues, and performance, considering the cooler that's on there, and now that we've got PBO on, is kind of exactly where you'd expect it to be. Although the virus scan seems to be running quite slowly. But is that because Prime 95 is still running? Yes. Exit. Now it's got the ump with me. Windows did not find a virus. Oh, fantastic.
And Dabby Doozy.
Right, why is Prime 95 not responding anymore? I don't think it's still running.
Let our Wolfman tell Mike how to use the CTR program.
I don't think we're going to have time for that tonight, but I would. Oh yeah, Prime 95 still running with 95%. Let's end that task. So that makes let's run a scan. That's better. Yeah, it's flying through this virus scan now. Okay. Well, considering that I was running Prime 95 whilst I was doing the other stuff, I think that says that it's fine, and we're still not losing internet connectivity. So yeah, I'm really, really confused. If anybody is watching this after the stream, please leave a comment or a suggestion. So just to recap where we're at and what we've done. So we tried the same processor on 2 different motherboards. It appears on face value to work absolutely fine on one board, seems problematic on the other one, but a different processor works fine on the problematic motherboard. It seems to be a hardware issue because it was having issues with the USB in the BIOS with the Gaming Plus board. We haven't experienced that on the Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. We've used the same RAM across both tests. We've used the same power supply and the same CPU cooler. Because we're using the AMD stock cooler, there shouldn't be any issues with mounting pressure because it's the AMD cooler. We did clean the processor before we installed it, the 7700, the AliExpress one. Cleaned the bottom, cleaned the base off, wiped it off with cotton cloth, non-fibrous, etc. and both sockets appear to be absolutely fine. We have enabled XMP on both. We had Precision Boost Overdrive set to auto on both to begin with. I then had it set to enabled on this one, but it hasn't seemed to have changed anything. We did lose internet connectivity at one point, which, thinking about it now, could have been because this was the new platform. Maybe the Windows updates downloaded the new Realtek driver for the LAN in the background and was installing it. That is very possible, but it seems to have stayed absolutely fine since then. But I don't know. I am I'm bamboozled, flummoxed, all of those other words that were said earlier. Life in frame. Do you have your component system specifications outside of the processor listed any place? I'll be interested in looking at the setup on PC Part Picker and see if anything becomes apparent to me. I haven't, but I will try and do that after the stream. I'll list all of the individual components in the video description for both of the setups that we've used. But yeah, I am... John says both MSI boards, yeah. One board is a B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, and the other one is a gaming... Oh, sorry, is the Edge Wi-Fi, not the Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, because they don't do a Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, it's just Edge Wi-Fi, or MPG Edge Wi-Fi. Both are using the same M.2 drives, so that is the FICWAT FN501s, PC Express Gen 3x4, both using relatively up-to-date Windows 11 installations. Both Windows 11 obviously as well. In terms of GPU driver, just using the default one that comes with the chipset driver, so it's the normal onboard graphics. We've not used a separate graphics card on this at all, just to try and rule that out of the equation as well. The RAM is the crucial DDR5 Pro kit, DDR5 6000 CL36, so pretty standard stuff. Yeah, that is kind of it really. I can't think of anything else I can say or suggest, but it's very, very peculiar. I use a lot of MSI boards. I generally tend to prefer them, especially for when I'm doing stuff here. They're very easy to work with. I like MSI Center. Fan control's excellent. The RGB setup's excellent. Generally very nice boards and normally quite reliable. But like anything, if you buy enough of them, you're going to get something which goes wrong. Can you blame Windows like everybody else? Definitely. It's definitely a Windows thing. I think what I'm going to have to do is on Monday, I might do another fresh install on the other motherboard, the original one, the Gaming Plus one, or I might just send it back to Amazon if it's on Amazon. It might well be. I am tempted just to send it back and try another board. And if I get weird stuff happening again, I'll be like, okay, maybe the processor is a bit sus. But yeah, lots of things to try. I can try it in that system as well. That's a 7700 in there now. I could swap that processor out with that one. More faffing around, but I do want to get to the end of it and find out definitively which is the problem. I know sometimes you get weird things where just two components won't marry up together, but when it's a processor and a motherboard, those are kind of really key components to your system platform. And I just don't, I can't believe in my heart of hearts that they shouldn't work together. They should do. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They should work absolutely fine. But something clearly about it isn't liking it. So maybe I need to go a little bit further in depth. Great. Did the CPU work fine now? Yeah, it's on this board and it seems to be, actually now that the Windows updates that I've done, I'll quickly do another Cinebench. If I get the same score as I did with the other motherboard, I will be moderately happy. Although I think it's going to thermal throttle because it's going to hit 95C pretty much instantaneously because now PBO is on and we'll be giving it way too much juice. But we will see. Let's give this a little time to settle. When you open Cinebench, you never want to run the program straight away because there's still caching a few things in the background. So give it a few seconds. So see, well, you probably can't, but I've got the circle there, the Windows circle, like it's working in the background. And let's see what happens. Previously on the other motherboard, we got 19,000 and change. So as long as we get roughly that, with the stock cooler, I'm not really expecting much better anyway.
What motherboard's on the streaming PC?
Streaming PC motherboard is a Asus Tough Gaming Wi-Fi B650. In fact, all the boards on the table are B650s at the moment. He's making AM4 users feel comfortable. Hey, I'm an AM4 user.
I'm me.
And Cafes. Right, so 18,833. So we've dropped off about 200 points. Now, bearing in mind, this isn't an exact like-for-like installation with the other system. There are some other things on here which might be holding it back slightly. Although, probably isn't. It's more likely down to the cooler just killing itself. But it seems to be doing what it's meant to do. So yeah, I am completely stuck. And to have that weird stuff in the BIOS is just, yeah, insane. So I think that's going to do it for today's stream. I am genuinely sorry that I couldn't come up with a definitive answer to why this is happening. I still don't know. And I need to know because I've got money invested in this and I've got returns that potentially need doing. So, yeah. I am completely flummoxed. But yes, like I said, if you've got any comments or questions or any suggestions, ideally let me know in the comments section of the video and I'll do my best to answer all of you. Alternatively, if you've got other things, maybe head over to the Discord and you can leave it in the tech chat there. And I will try and acknowledge as many things as I possibly can of what we tried and what we haven't. I don't expect everyone to watch the entire video to find out. I'll try and summarise some of it in a pinned comment or something. I think that's probably a good idea. I'll try and work on that tomorrow. Skystalker says, send back the CPU, no worky. What is the thing? It seems to be working on this platform. Which is like super frustrating. Mega Goat says, I still think it's a bug in that other motherboard. I might send that other board back anyway. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I think I did anyway. I need a micro ATX board to do some testing for some cases I've got coming up. So I might send that back and just get the micro ATX version of it, which at least that way I won't feel too bad on Amazon for taking advantage of their returns. As long as I haven't had it too long. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap things up. Thank you all so much for your support tonight. And if you're new here and you haven't done already, maybe subscribe and also click on the like button. It's always very much appreciated. It doesn't even say how many likes you've had on the video so far. Can't tell. Doesn't say on there in it. Why does that not say on there anymore?
You have to refresh
Swines. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up. Thank you all for your kindness, your support, your comments, and hopefully we'll work this out somehow, and I'll keep you updated anyway in the community tabs and possibly in next week's stream as well. But that is it for tonight. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And Kath's waving. That's really helpful. Thanks everybody.